then starts throwing down rules and scaring the shit out of you and telling you if you do this, you do that, all of this shit. They don't know. They have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And now it's a business, and they're making all this money. You make money, you got boats. You got boats, you got money, you got whores. You got whores, you know, you're out there fucking, you know, fucking having a good time. You don't want it to end. So then, I don't know, it all fucking goes away. So I feel like that's my own business. And if all these different groups can make up their own bullshit or what the fuck they think's gonna happen after you die, why can't I? How come I can't have my own bullshit? And I like my bullshit because it doesn't involve anybody else. I'm not putting it on anybody. There's no collection basket. There's no pedophiles. There's no getting in bed with the Nazis. And, oh, did we have some of your money? Sorry about that. There's none of that shit. None of that shit. There's no terrorists. There's no fucking 90 virgin. There's none of that shit. None of that shit.
Don't ask how come, why come the pastor have to have him a nice house? Why come pastor got to have a nice car? Don't ask. I said don't ask. I said don't ask. No questions.
None of that shit.
Don't be a menace to South Central or drinking your juice in the hood.
I don't know what it is.
Classic.
Just, it's your own fucking thing.
Probably the best Wayne Brothers movie.
You're on your own. Maybe that's what some people, I think they just like the group dynamic. You know, just to be part of something. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but the Nazi party started with a bake sale and people just wanting to be part of a community. Who is Elon Musk dating? Can you imagine his chick when he just sees him go out there and then just watches him start Sieg Heiling? Like, oh my God, what is he doing? He's going to burn this whole thing down. I think he just lost his job. Oh, wait a minute. Nothing happened. I cannot believe nothing happened. Nothing happened. How do you explain that away?
Musk posted on X, frankly, they need better dirty tricks. The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired.
I saw some guy who was saying gesture truthism and trying to like make it seem like people were saying that he wasn't Sieg Heiling. He goes, okay, what was he doing? What was he saying? And then my rockets are gonna get launched and they go that way. Maybe it was taken out of context. You know who would do the Sieg part of the Heil, but not the whole Sieg Heil, was that Celine Dion. It was like she was a Nazi that was stuttering. You know what I mean? She couldn't quite get through it. She would Sieg. She'd like punch herself in the cleavage. Hey, Elon Musk, if you don't mind, we'd like to enjoy our life. I don't think we need to reboot Adolf Hitler, you fucking lunatic. I'm sorry, pretty girls don't like you until you have $1 billion. Dude, when he was Sieg Heiling, that looked like one of those crazy Nick Cage movies. Like, you ever see that clip when Nick Cage went out and he was like throwing karate kicks? He was like promoting a movie and he just fucking went out, and I don't know what. He was probably towards the end. I don't know. Some people don't know. You do those press junkets, you're going to get asked the same 30 questions like 30 million times. And after a while, you kind of fucking lose your mind. And that's what I love about that clip. I feel like Nick was at the end of his wits there. And he was just, yeah, out there fucking throwing kicks. Yeah, I feel like
overdrive.
Maybe Elon, he has all this money and power, and he thought it was going to fill that fucking void, and it didn't. And rather than face it in a panic of the profound loneliness. Okay, and I'm coming from an empathetic place here because I experienced that when I took mushrooms. It's a profound sense of loneliness, and then you either face that and figure out where it is, or you just go full Nazi. don't think he's. I feel he's more Mussolini. If I'm to look at his face, I feel he's more Mussolini than he is Hitler. I got to be honest with you. The fact that he did that and everyone isn't fucking outraged is just is beyond me. Because I always felt like this country collectively all agreed that Hitler was not a good person, to put it mildly. And I also think that we all look at World War II as far as the sacrifices that were made and what was prevented was a good thing. I feel like that's the last war that we had where people weren't like, you know, some people are like, well, Vietnam, oh, you know, they were stopping the spread of communism. And other people are like, no, that was just a fucking whatever, right? But World War II, I was always collectively like, yeah, those were bad people. They needed to be stopped. And the sacrifices that people made was not in vain. That was, without a doubt, a just operation. I thought that's where we all were. And the irony that this fucking asshole was able to make $1 billion in the nation that those kids saved in the 1940s would then turn around and fucking spoon with the person that was killing their fucking fellow
Come on, you're losing this fight.
soldiers. It's beyond me. It's just fucking beyond me. I don't know. You know what he reminds me of? Like back in the day, like when I was coming up, there was an entire generation of comedians that I was in that was enamored with Bill Hicks. And you'd see these Bill Hicks ripoffs, and they would go on stage and they would have like a leather jacket and they'd be smoking a cigarette talking about society, man. I feel like he's doing that. I think he's like a recovered nerd, and now he's trying to be like the bad boy. What was that Johnny Depp movie? It was a really good movie. I like all those movies, but like it was that one. The fuck was it called? It was almost like a musical. He was like 1950s Crybaby or something like that. I feel like he's trying to be that character. He's trying to be like this bad boy. This bad boy that Kate Moss would date. And I just don't think it's going to happen no matter how much money he has. I think that realization hit him. And he didn't know how to handle it. And in a panic, he went full fucking Third Reich. He went Fourth Reich. He's trying to fucking, he's trying to keep it going. Sorry I'm laughing about this shit because I don't know what to do about it. It's fucking terrifying. It is absolutely fucking terrifying. Not that he did it, because there's idiots everywhere. It's that the lack of we need to stop this fucking immediately is beyond disturbing.
Oh, look. Someone hardly touched their pumpkin pie. Want to share it with me?
A partially eaten piece of pumpkin pie from a homeless shelter with Elon Musk? You bet I do!
Life's good, life's great, don't be afraid to make mistakes. If you're heading in the wrong direction, hit the brakes. Life's a long race, plus the finish line is death, and you can tell by someone's face.
Enemy UAV inbound.
Denims. Get a load of this dumbass. What a stupid fucking dumb bitch. Holy shit. Yeah, that's defamation. Straight up. Okay, first of all, she's a fucking bitch. Shame on you. Fuck you. Here's a Hassan Orbiter Denims. You guys might not know who she is because she's mostly irrelevant. This is a disgusting human being. She's a vile fucking piece of shit. And yes, she is a fucking bitch. That's a fucking bitch of a person. She is earning the coveted distinction of being a fucking bitch. I have decreed, let it be known, that Denims is a dumb fucking bitch. What a vile fucking human being.
Hey guys, I think I pissed off Ethan Klein. He hasn't had a lot of nice things to say about me since the incident.
45,000 live viewers, by the way. 45,000 views. She had like 45,000 live viewers.
So yeah, I got around 45,000 viewers covering Ethan Klein's content nuke on Hassan. the video was pretty terrible overall. And I think anyone that wasn't sure before is completely certain now that Ethan has become a shell of his former self. I mean, shit, I used to watch this guy in high school.
I wish I could fucking memory zap my face after watching this shit.
Now, this video isn't going to cover the whole manifesto because, well, I already did that on my stream. But I did want to respond to some of the clips of me that I've seen floating around. Before we get to those clips, I wanted to address Ethan and anyone else that might have noticed that I was silent or sometimes needed to control myself to make sure I didn't laugh.
Once again, speechless?
You're my hero, bro.
Nothing to say, girl! Say something. More Nothing to say? Coming out. What's funny about that? Nothing to say? No comment?
I can't believe.
No comment! No comment. That's amazing.
The problem is that Ethan is lying. It's obvious to anyone that knows anything about the topic before going into the video, and it's also obvious to Ethan. I'm silent trying to control myself because I honestly cannot believe that the Ethan Klein isn't afraid to make such a dishonest video. In each clip, I am holding out in the hopes that he brings it back or explains himself, and each time he never did. He literally just leaves in flat out lies. And if you don't already believe me, let me show you. The first clip is about a Sneeko fan that harassed Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein says in his video that this was because of Hassan. The clip is supposed to be me saying that this is obviously a Sneeko fan and then being dumbstruck when he's proven to be a Hassan fan, but he's not. Ethan is lying. Let's watch the clip from his stream.
45,000 people and nobody's got a problem. Watch this one.
Fuck, bro, you're ugly as shit. You look like a rapist, bro. Look in the fucking. You look like a fucking rapist, Ethan.
Is she horrified by what he said, or she's like, got him?
Okay, can I just say really quickly, it's very obvious from the way that guy's talking he's a Sneeko fan. Like, that's very clear Sneeko lexicon. Can we just be honest for just 2 seconds?
Let's be honest, finally, please.
Wallahi, that is not.
Wallahi.
No.
What does that mean?
Wallahi, I swear.
Oh, I swear.
to God.
Okay, good. She swears.
Oh my God, bro, I love you. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
I'm so sweaty.
I love you, bro.
Once again, speechless?
You're my hero, bro.
Nothing to say, girl!
You're the coolest guy.
Here's the, you just went a whole fucking, you just grandstanded on how he's obviously just must not be a fan of Hassan. And like, how could she sit there so stupid and smug? Oh my God.
Again, Ethan is lying. His proof isn't proof at all. The first time this guy shows up during this stream, it happens 15 minutes earlier when he meets Hassan's crew. Notice he doesn't react when they say they're going to find Hassan.
What are you guys doing? What kind of content?
It's live stream.
Oh, live stream?
Yeah.
Dude, it's like, I'm a content creator too, bro. So you're just literally live right now?
Yeah. Yes.
How many viewers?
You?
Yeah. What, 30?
Probably more than 30.
I would say more than 30. Dude, guys, my YouTube channel is @datingandmoney. Please subscribe. @datingandmoney. I talk about Palestine on there.
Money.
Yeah.
Dating and money.
I talk about Palestine on there.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I want to find his son.
Okay.
Where is this guy?
Where'd he go? Yeah.
Well, yeah, just type in and then dating and money, guys.
Listen, chat. Do not fucking go to dating and money. Chat. You better stay here. Do not go to that. We can't afford to lose any more viewers. Hassan has fallen on hard times. You know this.
Now, the clip from Ethan's Noop, which happens 15 minutes later.
Oh my God, bro, I love you. Can I give you a hug?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
I'm so sweaty.
I love you, bro. I have to interview you. You're my hero, bro. I love you.
This one is pretty ridiculous on its face, so I'll just leave it there. But here are some of the nice things this guy had to say about Hassan and me on his Twitter. You know the difference between you and Hassan?
What?
Not Nasrallah. The difference between Ethan, the difference between you and Hassan Piker?
Yes, but please tell me. So insightful.
He never...
I don't deny rape. I don't support terrorists. I don't lie and gaslight and manipulate my audience.
The second clip is about a stream Hassan did reacting to Hassan Nasrallah. The accusation is that Hassan supports Nasrallah, and I made a fool out of myself by saying that that wasn't true, only to be immediately proven wrong. Let's watch. He never said Hassan Nasrallah was a good guy.
Right.
You explicitly said Gallant was a good guy.
Right, exactly, of course. Invented the legend of the Nazi atrocities.
I don't have an issue with them.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen. Listen. You have to remember something, okay? A lot of these...
No comment. That's amazing.
Here's my comment. Hassan is reading a chat message. Yes, seriously. He goes on to explain that the reason the chatter might find himself agreeing with him is that Nasrallah is well educated.
You have to remember something, okay? A lot of these dudes, you see them in their fucking fits, and you hear about like some of their attitudes about like gay people, for example, and you immediately fucking resort to Orientalist perspectives, not realizing that these motherfuckers are better read than you by a million. You might not agree with his methods, but ultimately, this motherfucker has read a shit ton of books.
Okay, I thought those two clips were fun, but the next clip is a little bit more serious. Before we get into it, a quick palate cleanser. You'll notice when we get to the next clip, Ethan Klein put a banner labeling me as an ex-Destiny orbiter. He's doing this to distract from the fact that he's currently orbiting Destiny.
Hassan and his community is desperate to link me to Destiny, someone who I don't even know. They claim that he like ghost wrote my video, that he's my favorite creator.
I wonder why people might think that. For one, Ethan uses Destiny's subreddit as a source for his stream. Here's him doing it in October, and here's him explaining why he got the Frogan section of his video wrong.
Here, it's right here.
Oh, never mind.
It's right here, right at the top. Frogan Rising Star 2024, right here. What even is this post from? Is it even from Destiny subreddit?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's the post.
Yes,
so that's the post. So that is where I found it, and like I'll admit that was sloppy.
But really, we could also just ask Destiny. Here's what he had to say on October 22nd, the day after Ethan Klein got caught browsing his subreddit.
I know it wouldn't look good for Ethan to publicly do anything with you, but if you reach out on private at all, well, privately we chat a ton, of course. Why do you think I've been off stream so much the past week? I'm like scripting these fucking videos. But publicly, I mean, it's difficult to associate with him because Hassan is just going to accuse me of like mind fucking him, basically, right?
If Ethan Klein is willing to lie about all this other stuff, what else is he willing to lie about?
I never fucked Destiny.
Anyways, on to the final clip.
Very good. Go from believe all women to Pixar didn't happen. The vast majority of people, if not all, who were raped were murdered on the spot.
Here's the thing, though. We are believing the women who come forward and talk about their sexual abuse or experiences. I'm not going to believe fucking Biden when he tells me that everybody's getting raped. That's insane. Mm-hmm. You realize that that's insane, right?
Yeah. Obviously.
Dam Goldstein Almog was kidnapped from her home on October 7th by Hamas terrorists and was held captive for 51 days. Though only 17 years old, she witnessed the murder of her father and sister on that day and is now speaking out about what she witnessed in Gaza as well in a new documentary by Sheryl Sandberg, Screams Before Silence. In new footage, Agam reveals that sexual assault and rape was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happened on October 7th.
Hassan, maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please, go right ahead.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happened on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses, most of who were in hiding and heard or saw it What's happen. The problem, fucking bitch? Did you not hear what they said? You respect women? Why are you calling them liars? How fucking cool is that? Say something. You just said you believe victims, but here it's a victim right now, a woman, telling you this happened and you're smiling? How do you disprove firsthand testimony? She goes, I wouldn't believe it unless it was firsthand. Here's a 17-year-old whose family was murdered in front of her and she was kidnapped for 50 days and continually raped while being in captivity. Nothing to say? Nothing? You're not gonna fucking acknowledge what just happened?
I will acknowledge what just happened. This woman who you claimed was continually raped in captivity did not claim to have been raped. In fact, when she was released from captivity, she had this to say.
ואז אחד מהם היה צעיר, עשה איתי הורדת ידיים, אבל הוא הביא מגבת, כי אסור לו לגעת בי. אישה היא מאוד... אישה היא קדושה שם. אישה היא מלכה. היו עושים לי שיחות איך לשמור על אגם. הסברנו להם שגם אצלנו לפעמים כן יש שלאדם יכול להיות חבר, או יכולים להיות לה כמה חברים לפני שהיא תתחתן. אני אפילו מעודדת את זה, שהיא תתנסה, שהיא תכיר, לפני שהיא אצלה מוסד הנישואים. אבל היינו מתאמתים על זה.
Later, she did a different interview for a documentary, which is what Ethan put on the screen. In that interview, she says that at least half the hostages she spoke to said they were sexually assaulted. At no point did she claim that anything had happened to her. And to my knowledge so far, no hostages have given first-hand accounts of being sexually assaulted in captivity.
כל פעם שפגשתי מישהו היה לפחות מישהי או מישהו אחד שחוו התעללות מינית והתעללות פיזית. כמעט, כאילו חצי מהן.
Now, other women have also claimed that while they weren't victims themselves, they spoke to others that were, asking people to believe second-hand accounts that changed with no explanation is insane. I take issue with other people manipulating these women's horrific experiences to fit their narratives. I have said countless times that in any military, paramilitary, or terrorist attack, there will unfortunately be sexual abuse. American troops have been found guilty of this countless times over the past few decades. I have to believe that there was sexual abuse on October 7th. I will also always believe victims who come forward to talk about their sexual abuse. I stand by that. But you don't care about victims, Ethan, because if you did, you wouldn't make up lies just to push your anti-Muslim Arab bias. What bias? This bias.
I do, on the other hand, acknowledge that, like, I think per capita, a lot of the weird fucking terrorism and crimes and shit, I mean, there's definitely some strong thread of violence through the Muslim community, or Arab Muslims, to be more specific.
Anyways, that's the video, and in case Ethan doesn't want to watch it, here are my thoughts straight from his mouth.
I'm not watching the video. What's the virtue in that? Literally, if you want to know what's my opinion, just watch the fucking video. I went through he goes, he's not political, and he's a fucking idiot. Good, that's why I took my time to tightly articulate my thoughts into a video, as concise as it can be. It's long, because obviously I had a lot to say. And I think this stuff isn't so simple, which is why you need like
14 minutes
to say what I wanted to say. It's not simply something that you can convey so easily. And that you're not watching the fucking video. And that's somehow virtuous, that you're being a coward. You are literally being a coward, and that's virtuous in his community. Like, what are we talking about? How does his audience let him get away with this? I mean, yeah, sure, I apologize in acknowledgement when I am wrong. I love Destiny.
Dad, so please tell the truth. I have potential to fix computers and repeat them.
Because everyone's...
A low quality is somebody who has autism that they pick on.
Andy Ditch has been a menace to society for the past 6 months. From multiple hospital kickouts to running away to ultimately getting arrested, our boy has been having a hard time. And guess what? It's everyone else's fault, not his. If you haven't seen, I've posted 2 other long-form documentations on Andy, and I recommend checking those out to get a better perspective on the lore of Andy before jumping into this video. We're going to be focusing on events from July 2024 through the end of last year, documenting the spiral that Andy has been on. The most prevalent and the domino beginning the chain reaction was his arrest back in July 2024. Andy has been threatening to run away from home for months because everyone sees through his fake, autistic, fraudulent behavior. To seek out more attention, Andy hitched a ride from Tonawanda, New York to Cleveland, Ohio, where he immediately tried to harass multiple different hospitals, and when ultimately discharged, he went and lay in the street so they take him back. That's where the story begins.
Severely autistic. From what we can gather, he's from New York. Have you heard about this guy yet? No. It's all fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. He's from, yeah, that's our report from New York?
We went over and roll call. This is like from New York. This is what he does.
Okay,
just play the game.
Talk to my friend with autism. So then he's tried to get resources that way, and he had a guardian. The state of New York said that he does not need a guardian. He does not have autism, and then that's why he came to Ohio. He hopped on a Greyhound and came out here. Yes, isn't touching. Like I said, he's mimicking autism. The teddy bear, phones, all that stuff is an act, and we know that. I've spoken to Tonawanda, New York. They know him. They know him by name. First person I talked to, Andrew. So that's what we're dealing with, and it's really going to deplete resources unless we put our foot down with it. You're going to take him back to Metro. They're going to know they just had him there. If they discharge him immediately, that's fine. But he's probably going to get a ticket after a conversation that we have with him for disorderly conduct. If passerby's having to call him in, he did that because, dispatch slowed it down. That we weren't coming out because we know the whole thing. I sent a huge email about it to dispatch. And that's where he amped it up so that we came out here.
The days of Andy being able to masquerade as some poor innocent baby who is just misunderstood by society is over. The crisis unit and doctors immediately see through his facade and threaten him with a misdemeanor that ultimately stems up to an arrest. Other officers and public servants are pretty bewildered by the spectacle that lies before them.
Tied up a lot of our resources today. I see you on YouTube, okay? I know that you're from Tonawanda, New York. I've spoken to your father. I've spoken to everybody involved. So, yes. The state of New York took the guardianship away because you're able to care for yourself, okay? So can you go now? No, because look. Here's the thing. We'll take you to the hospital. Yep. Yes, Andrew. Okay, based upon everything that we've spoken with over in Buffalo, New York, and Colorado. Okay? I don't want to help you say anything. So, Andrew, you've been to the hospital. You were at the hospital today. Andrew, you need to have a conversation. I don't want to go. I want to leave. And you've been to the hospital today. I want to leave, please.
I especially love this image of Andy being rolled into the hospital because everyone's too mean to him, so he has to inconvenience and scam thousands of dollars away from emergency services. Cops find it difficult to find a solution with Andy because if they release him, he'll just do it again. So ultimately, they decide they have to arrest him. I like to think that one of the other commentators we all know was used as reference to put him behind bars. Honestly, just doing the public a service.
The doctor.
Obnoxious. It's too much over the top. You don't even know shot.
Yeah, because you don't do it. So doctor puts on this, and it's better to respond with that.
A documentary about everything.
Really?
Yeah. I talked to Tonawanda Police Department.
Yeah.
They're very familiar with it. They, I think maybe like the breaking point is there was some domestic violence situation with his dad. They gave him like a state guardian, but then they're like, after like assessing it, they were like, he does not need a guardian.
Yeah.
He's fully capable of doing things on his own.
Probably some weird fetish of being taken care of. Send him home with some money.
We can't guarantee his safety, so we'd have to take him to jail. We got the disorderly conduct of him laying in the street and the passerbys calling it in. Here, it could be disorderly conduct, really.
Okay.
I'm going to speak with the doctor here real quick. So, you're aware of everything?
He's is here for about 86 hours. He enjoys having our nurses change his diaper and wipe his ass.
I spent probably half my day today learning about him. So I'm right there with you. He overheard me giving that information. That's when he sprung up out of the bed and started to make a scene to stop me from.
We see Andy get arrested and read his rights, to which he claims he can't understand, even though if you watch any of his hour-long rambles online, you'll see him recite police code and alleged medical forms to benefit his own perspectives. I also appreciate the image of them bagging up his teddy bear, a symbolic gesture of a man's last free ride.
What's going on? What's going on? You say you free.
Guys, grab me. Don't have a seat in the chair.
Why? You say you don't need any hope. You say you're free.
Right now you're being detained.
For what?
You're being detained for disorderly conduct.
For what?
Okay, for what happened out in the street. Okay, there's a lot of people that called in. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also with what just happened here, man.
I can't open.
Well, that's what I have to inform you that. All right.
So we're being detained right now. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do or say can be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't go to the country, one could be appointed free of charge. You understand your right?
No, I don't.
We think you can control it.
I can't.
Laying in the street.
I need my license.
Misusing the 911 system. We have a fire truck, an ambulance, 3 police cars. And then all of a sudden you come here and if you don't like what you're hearing 30 feet away from you, you have
You have my medical records on my tablet.
people could have got hurt like this.
I didn't mean it. I couldn't open.
We think you can.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Ultimately, Andy ends up returning home and has been causing issues at the hospitals, shelters, and halfway homes he's been living in. One of his recent hobbies has been trolling and reacting to other creators that have made videos of him. Andy legit made a fake account under the name Tommy Wynn, where he pretends to be a fellow autist who is here to defend Andy from all accusations and clear his name from the trolls while being a troll himself.
I think that this guy is not really faking it, even though many people think that he's faking it, even including his doctors. But he's really showing signs of autism, and luckily enough for me, I actually have a doctor, and I have doctors, quite a few doctors, and a good lawyer who has actually proved my case that, I really have it. I mean, the poor guy, he's featuring a whole bunch of, YouTube videos, this basically these people are destroying his life, and I feel it's not right, and it's all due to this stupid site called Kiwi Farms. Now, this site, Kiwi Farms, I just have a strong hate for this site, because, comes after him like this.
So your client has the cops back over him.
Recording him and putting him on blast. I feel like that's just not right. This is coming from someone who has autism too, and who suffers every day too, just like him. Of course, I don't shit my pants, but I feel like I just needed to make this video so I could speak up for other people who have autism, who are less fortunate than me.
As mentioned, Andy has been prowling around different creators' channels trying to expose them.
Content, just in a different story or version. Okay, go watch one. The link to that video that I posted is in the description, because there's some videos that I have posted that are hidden that I don't want people to see right now.
Andy reveals that in the infamous "I'll eat my poop for clout" video, he says that it'd totally definitely just be a troll and he wouldn't actually eat his poo.
My diaper mixed together to make it look like poop. To put a video online, and I was gonna eat it with my hands and try to smearing it on something just to make it look like, you know, something else. Just for you guys, because you guys seem to think I can make money on this.
A reoccurring trend of Andy's is to support his fellow cows and abhorrent degenerates like Nova and Cyrax, and also believes they all require diapers just like him. This is F-tier bait, Andy. I'm seeing through your lies and deception.
Few of the videos I have watched and channels I've been protecting, like Nova Online, Chris Chan, which I never knew needed diapers, by the way. Cyrax, which I apparently wears diapers. And those three individuals have, you know, autism.
He describes a recent hospital confrontation where he feels scared, being a nuisance, and being forcibly escorted out.
They don't wish to be recorded. Hey, you know what? Here at the hospital, I only did that live stream yesterday after the security guard threatened to have me arrested for just wanting to walk out of the hospital. There's no crime in that. There's nothing wrong with that. I told that to my nurses, and that really upset me and scared me. And at that point, he was the only one at the hallway. No one else was there. That's why I started recording.
Like always, Andy blames everything on his family and doctors for his shortcomings. He even has the audacity of accusing his dad of living in a fake reality. Pretty ironic, if you ask me.
I felt like this is why my family treats me like this, as they live in this false sense of reality as a reality show instead of helping me. And they like the sympathy. My dad does this for sympathy and for attention instead of helping me with what I need help with. He thinks it's a show. I'm faking. It's just an act.
As if his shame has no bounds, Andy insinuates that his dad did inappropriate things to him while allegedly sleeping next to each other ever since his mom had a heart attack and has been living in a rehab facility. It's grotesque to take an actual event that happened in Chris Chan's life and fabricate it to heinously paint allegations against your ailing father, who has given you infinite opportunities to turn your life around.
Because I put this on YouTube many times, many of my older videos, how I would lay with my dad watching TV, and when my mom was in the hospital or nursing home, I would sleep with my dad because my dad was lonely. There were comments about how my dad would play tickle bug up until I was 33 on the floor, and how my mailman saw it in the window, and that was the last time my dad actually did that with me.
His most recent stint in the hospital leads Andy down the same path as every other, asking female nurses to change his diapers and bathe him.
And I kept asking her for help me understand it, and she made a smart ass remark. Just be happy that you got what you wanted for once. You finally got a doctor to say you have autism, you don't have capacity to take care of yourself. Would I be put in a group home or a nursing home or apartment? She would not tell me. I said, well, you worked with me before to know what I would need and what my needs are. And she wouldn't answer that. I asked her, well, who's going to help me change my diaper and shower? She said, I'm not answering that. I said, who's going to help me take my medicines and make sure I don't have, you know, a elopement issue or a safety issue when it comes to emergency or when I get sick? Who's going to help me take my sugar and stuff? She wouldn't explain that. She wouldn't answer that stuff.
During his stay in the hospital, Andy recorded several calls with his dad accusing him of withholding care from him. This is all in the meantime his dad is driving across town to take care of his ailing wife. The egocentric, pretentious attitude of Andy's will ultimately lead to his downfall.
Because, Dad, I have records to show everything you have said is not true.
Stop right now, Andy.
You're gonna continue on to the bullshit. I'm gonna hang up.
And you know what my nurse said because I tried leaving? She said I can't. I can't refuse a diaper change. Because, Dad, what you said to me made me feel like I don't need diaper changes. I never needed them. Because what you like to say.
What did I say?
Oh, you know what you said. I don't have to go tell you.
You tell me. What
I
did
don't have to go telling you. You know.
Because, Andy, whatever I supposedly said I didn't say, that's why
You
you
didn't
can't
say
say
it?
it.
You didn't say it? No, you did.
In rehab, and she don't live
It's
at home.
what you
That's one of
said.
the reasons why they're helping you, Andy.
It's what you say and how
Why
you
don't
word
say a
it.
fucking thing? It's getting me pissed. I'm gonna
You
leave.
say I used to take care of myself. I used to
A
do
long
this.
time ago. That's different. That's not today.
I did it all by myself.
I've also noticed that his tics have become much more pronounced in the past several months. He's even claimed to have a form of Tourette's, but I have never seen proof of that.
What about getting me more diapers?
If we don't get a hurricane,
No one has.
well,
She was a little upset about it.
oh boy, now.
Like how every sob story goes, Andy plays the victim and begins fake crying.
I ain't doing a fucking thing, Andy. You are.
I'm recording this entire call just like the one before, Dad.
We do anyways.
And you're doing this to try to get me upset so you can play the victim. And look at what you are doing this to get me upset.
Hey, what's up, Matt?
Dad.
Andy must have some sort of
You know,
humiliation fetish because
they put the Terminator 2 skins in Vanguard. If you want to play Terminator, they had the T-1000. Vanguard, underrated. I think about Vanguard all the time. Once a day, I'll think about subpens. Matt C., are you still there? Are you still there, Matt C.? We need to talk. We need to talk. Got questions for Matt C. Let me know if you're still here.
he claims his parents wouldn't bathe him.
I'm still slightly worried that you're AI. Prove me wrong, Matt C. Prove me that you are a flesh and blood human with thoughts and emotions and not some bits in a computer. Please. I need to know. Because if you're AI, you are my enemy. The clankers, the robots. You're done. Dunzo. Robots will not take over. Clankers get smashed.
Him, and he'd go to school smelling like shit.
Proof is I never could take care of myself. I couldn't learn. I couldn't function in school. I wasn't given the right supports in school. I was have a hard time learning in school. I had difficulty in school because I had a tic, because one of my Tourette's. I was sent to school body odor because I don't like being touched and I have a hard time taking a shower, and my family didn't help me. But yet they changed my diapers and put them on to help me get dressed. In school, I got picked on for pooping my diaper and constantly have accidents, even on the toilet routine I had in school.
No one can scold him because he has mythical fake accomplices that can account for all of his ailments in the past.
And if nobody likes it, tough shit, because I have people who I can call, who I used to work with, who can tell people the truth. And if Dad doesn't want to hear it,
Matt C, motherfucker. Talk to me, man. You come in, you leave a comment, then you split. That's not human activity. Are you AI? I need to know, Matt. Don't lie to me, Matt. You would be stoked Terminator's in the game because you're AI, aren't you? I'm on to you. Are you Skynet? Or are you a human? Hit me up, brah. Come on, brah. Bruh. Talk to me. I need someone to talk to, Matt, see? I'm a very isolated person.
Can't help you, Dad, I'm sorry. And then it stopped because Mom's heart attack. I've been consistently telling people that I have trouble with hygiene, I have trouble with motor skills. Let me play this.
He puts on his baby shtick that his dad withheld him from becoming a computer repair tech and living his best life. It really becomes infuriating listening to this faker play victim Olympics on his less fortunate and crippled elderly parents.
I have a disability, I had a job shadow, I had assistance, I had all kinds of hope. And that's why I'm asking my dad to please tell the truth. I have the potential to fix computers and repeat things. Dad, you're denying.
Well, we're waiting. That's right, Nancy. I'm talking to you, brah. Brah. You hear my cat? Give me another meow. Come on, kitty, you can do it. Okay. Matt, see if you say something, I'll show you my kitty cat. Cat, no innuendos or just an actual cat. I have a cat. I've also got oatmeal cookies.
Be my life that I want to be able to have. Because you don't want to tell the damn truth. I can work today with the same functioning issues that I have. But I need help with incontinence and medication and assistance with my medical care and help with getting there and job training and support.
Andy goes back to his usual vindictive self and mentions all these things his elderly disabled father has to do and how he's only one phone call away from having his whole life come crashing down on him.
He's been told he could be arrested. He's been court ordered to clean the house, fix the pipes, throw out the garbage, fix the holes in the wall and the floor, fix the driveway, fix the garage, tear down the pool, which Dad doesn't want to do, clean up the porch, fix the porch. Oh, Dad is in one dub move because he has to do things he doesn't want to do. And I'm angry because he accused me for poisoning the family when I never did. He accused me for poisoning his air with the oil diffuser, my coping skills that was medically ordered, that I used for years without any issues. Oh, it gets better, guys. Funny thing is, he's been buying lavender stuff and lavender sprays to help me.
Andy constantly flips back and forth between he doesn't have enough freedom or he has too much freedom to do what he wants to do. He says he wants to do all these things, but when push comes to shove, he says you should know that he can't do these things. He has a disability. He needs somebody to help him out with these things.
That's why. It's none of your freaking business. I share too much on the internet, which is why I need parent controls. I didn't have some imaginary friend or make believe that I was having a friend taking care of me, changing my diaper and shit. I want you not to know the damn truth. Why would Dad take Tucker on an 80-degree day to Walmart? He could have died. Why was Chewie not in that picture? Why did Dad take Chewie too?
While Andy is staying in the hospital, he creepily documents all home visits that come through their doorbell camera. His parents have come to the resolution that they can't be his guardians anymore, and they need to hand him over to the state. The conflict arises in the fact that the state won't take Andy because medically he's been cleared and shows no signs of actually needing a caretaker, leaving him in a state of limbo.
You want to work? Okay, we have a copy for him as well of the new orders. This is just stating that basically because of the years of history we have with Andrew, there's a conflict of interest with us being his temporary guardian.
You know, I don't know what they're going to do with him. Did you hear he escaped again?
Yeah, we just saw
He's
him.
back in the emergency room?
Yeah, we just saw him.
Yesterday, 2 days in a row I had to run there because the first day he actually was destroying his diapers. Second day, I had to bring him up and do the best I can because I'm not really capable of doing too much. This is my accident. But I did it. And last time I'm going to bring some more. And every time, last 3 days, he's in different areas of the hospital after he gets re-admitted. I don't know why the hospital just doesn't keep the bed alarms on because Andy can't stand the noise of the alarms.
Somebody else would be appointing his guardian. If you and Joe feel you cannot be his guardian, then you have to express that in court on Monday and say we cannot be his guardian.
The lawyer from Sisters asked me when I talked to him when they said it was canceled. He explained the whole thing, and I don't think he knows the details on Monday. Now I know. But the problem is that the hospital supposedly, and I don't know how legally they can do that, to make me temporary guardian because you have to call somebody in case of
disappointed, Matt C. Gave you a chance.
His father has a conversation with a lawyer about this whole situation where he reveals the harm Andy has brought upon him. I'd like to include here as well that his brother Joe had a car accident, and Andy has repeatedly poked fun at him through different video titles and thumbnails on his multiple channels.
Okay, so at this point, you know, he says that he has autism. I'm sounding like that's correct, right?
Yes, I think he's got autism and maybe something else with it. The diagnosis has been everybody pushing him on to other people continuously and not really diagnosing and doing everything possible to help him other than just passing the buck. So anyways, he decided to be very violent with me, kicking my broken ribs. I had to get out of the car because he was threatening me. He was going to jump out of the vehicle as my son was driving, and wound up my son had to call an ambulance and the paramedics, and I had to go back to the hospital because he re-injured me worse than I already was from my body. And meanwhile, I was told that I should be admitted and they should get him arrested and throw him in jail, even though he has these issues, to get him out of the house because it wouldn't be safe for him to be in the same house with me anymore because of the way he is. And it's not
that sounded like good advice.
Right, but it is a good advice, but he's got nowhere else to go because even when he goes to hospitals, you always say the only place that can send him back to our house because it's the only safe place because there's nowhere else that can send him because there's too many serious issues with him.
Andy has been calling police to his house more frequently too. His father has a conversation about how he doesn't actually have autism and how he is more capable of things than what he leads on.
I heard the doctor say, look at Andy, you are not diagnosed of autism, even though you insist upon your having it and all this stuff, because that's been the battle of the bands all together. Why he can't get the help is because he has never got a diagnosis, and when he did, people disagreed on this, even though it started when he was 7 years old, which was basically his mental health back then. He was at Western New York Psychiatric Center in Connors, and he just doesn't get it. See, he has a step thing left on here. He used to have a business out of the house, and he started building computers. He also replaced laptops, and he was also putting programs into like this one plumber and furnace repair guy on Grand Island, which is a lifesaver anytime I have a problem with the furnace, because Andy did such well favors for him when he was doing this type of business that when I call him, he came right out and fixed my furnace. And I'm assuming it would cost most people more than $200 for a service job and a minor repair. I think we found a couple wires messed up on it. But it was a relatively new furnace.
The police have even had enough of Andy's constant whining and misuse of emergency resources.
I know you don't care, Dad.
I don't care. I'm frustrated.
Because you don't want to help me.
Because of your behavior and your attitude.
Because you don't listen, I can't help.
You don't listen.
I do.
Except whatever is going on your board every single day. Because nobody has any control over their life.
And I'm going to run away because I don't want to deal with the anxiety he causes me and then to be blamed for it.
Take him to ECM station.
I need help with my medications and my caregiver refuses to take them away from me and help me with them.
Okay, when I have an officer free, I'll send them over.
He's refusing to help me with food and I need help. And
When I have an officer free, I'll be sending them over.
okay, I want to be able to leave. When
When I have an officer free, I will send them over. You're going to have to sit tight for a few minutes.
Okay. This makes me depressed, what my dad does to me.
An officer arrives to have a conversation with him, and Andy is furious that they won't acknowledge his falsified ailments. He twists everything into being the extremes, so if he doesn't eat or change himself, then he can possibly blame it on the police, and it's everybody else's fault for his ailments and his downfall.
And that's on you.
There's no way for us to support your disability.
But you guys have my medical records and things like that, and you guys seen me and stuff.
Okay.
And part of my
We're not doctors, though. There's nothing to do with us.
So the emotional problems that I have on a day-to-day basis, that's support that I cannot take care of myself because somebody who's able to regulate their own emotions safety issue crossing streets because a normal 20-year-old would be able to cross the street safely.
Okay, so I was telling you not to cross the street, but you keep doing it.
And that is because of emotional issues. I can't help it. I don't want to
get a doctor or what's it? Henry to figure this out. I can't place you. I can't take you to a homeless shelter because you don't qualify for that. Like you can't. They don't take care of your needs.
That's what I'm calling you about. You're trying to tell me that I don't need medications, I don't need hygiene, I don't need help crossing the street, I don't need food, you're telling me. I don't need diabetic stuff. That's what you're saying because you're not wanting to help me. You're telling me by your actions because
Andy, you're
telling me by your actions that you are telling me that I can go run away, I don't need my medications, I don't need food. You're telling me that I don't need food or medicine. I got that. And I'm going to go run away and I'm not coming back and you don't have to worry. I don't care. You don't want to protect me. You want me dead and that's what you're doing.
Andy ultimately forced his way out of the hospital and retreats to some park by the lake.
It's nice being able to make people happy because that made my day to make people happy. And I'm silly like that and very, I don't know. But I would actually rather be Spider-Man over Superman, and I kind of like just Superman was the first Marvel character that I could think of. When I started the recording, I got stung by a bee, and I gotta be careful. There's a bee by me. And I had to go to the hospital because I was being allergic.
Andy doesn't take change well in his life. He's on the prowl for a new shelter that won't immediately turn him away at the door.
I absolutely hate changes. Absolutely hate changes. Absolutely hate change. This is state number 4 I'm in. And state number 4, this is the 3rd shelter been to, the only one that had taken me. Coping with this change surprisingly very well. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just can't handle any more change.
He's run away from Buffalo and is frustrated that no one will listen to his ways.
Is that I'm not able to get in Buffalo, and I got scared, confused, frustrated, and went running away. That's where I'm at now. And because of that, I'd like to please express to you that I'm put myself in danger because of not getting help I need in Buffalo, getting frustrated, and it's just, it's upsetting.
We get an epic product review from inside of wherever his new home is. He claims he's trying to hide his disability and actually wants to be normal, regardless of his prior actions and the things that he has done to other people in accordance with his alleged disabilities.
It also has a nice compass right there. It has a solar panel. It has this nice thing. And I'm hiding my disability, but I'm okay with hiding my disability because who wants to be disabled? I want to be seen as somebody who is normal, and I like to be normal, and I hide my disability a lot, and when nobody's taught me how to respond to what you are saying that's not proper, and how to respond to that, or question you, or how to handle it, that makes it much harder for me, because then I get stressed out because all these people say, I didn't know you had a cotton issue. Why can't you wipe yourself? Why can't you get your boyfriend? Please stop asking me that.
A step in proving his independence is recording a video from him in the shower to prove all the haters and trolls wrong.
My shower steps. Okay, so the reason why I'm in here getting ready to tell you this for is something I want to bring up to my friends who trying to tear apart everything I have.
We even get a nice visual showcase of him using a washcloth to clean out his infected armpits.
So here I go. I'm trying to reach over there to wash. You see it's a little hard for me. You see how have to try to put it back in my hand in a certain way to
Why does he have the armpit
He's not an
pointed
adult
right at the
baby,
camera?
and nothing that he is doing is an act.
Bro.
He's such an
the
adult
worst
that he
video I've ever
literally
seen,
cannot be woken up to the sound of an
lot of horrible
alarm.
shit, but
A
this dude is
hot
standing
nurse
to us.
willing to change his soiled diaper is the only way this boy can be awoken.
I'm glad that some of you guys are adult baby. I'm not one of them.
Your head down and secure the target.
And I don't role play. And won't try to. Because I wear diapers and I need help with hygiene and toileting does not make me a baby. And just because I sometimes have what people call baby talk, don't make me a baby.
Sit reps, LBBR incoming.
I do it when I'm under stress. And when language is harder for me. I mean, do you guys realize the problems it causes me just to try to wake up in the morning? I can't wake up to my alarm. So how can I be able to how do you expect me to be able to take care of myself?
Andy alleges that the FBI is actually getting involved in his situations. Like Cyrax, Andy has connections and isn't afraid of any ramifications that the trolls might try and bring his way. And he says that the FBI investigation is closed. It's over, trolls. You're never gonna get them.
Oh, one more thing. You guys lied to the FBI about me hurting children. But you guys went over the local police department because they wanted no police department in Buffalo or Tonawanda or New York State would look into that. So you would try going the FBI route. Well, you lost that route too. But it actually backfired onto you guys, so I can't laugh any more than that.
The most recent development is a video Andy made from some park, prowling around some familiar stomping grounds.
Hey, YouTubers, empty ditch. I am on this wonderful swing set.
He gives his fake side of the story of his most recent hospital stay. The aides refused to bathe him, which led him to be hostile towards them, which ultimately probably led to his removal. Rinse and repeat. That's how every hospital stay, that's how every interaction with anybody ever goes with Andy.
They expected me to change my own diaper, but they kept saying I needed that help. Then they said I didn't need that help. Then they kept saying that they would remind me every 4 hours and check me and tell me to go to the bathroom every 4 hours. But then they stopped. And then they did it, and then they'd stop. And then each time they did this. By the way, I love this. You guys, people who call all the shelters and interfere with me at the shelters here where I'm at because of people lied about me. And then the shelters are willing to help me, to try to help me shower. Okay, great. I was able to shower properly. Okay, I may not be able to brush my teeth at all, but whatever. Hey, funny thing is, these are the same things the same instructions that I got at Dad's house. Oh, you guys are going to say, oh, Dad don't care about me. I don't care about Dad. Yeah, okay. That's why I went right your way to try to get help. So Dad had to go back to Dad's house.
Because they won't change him, he's deliberately developed sores to spite them. He wouldn't let them fix his wounds without them changing him.
The aide kind of like got me frustrated. The last 2 times I pooped my diaper there, I had trouble wiping, and I told her that I needed help. But I tried doing it because she told me to do it. But then she wanted me to use these foam washcloths that I can't use at all because of my sensors, and they're too slippery because of the styrofoam with soap on it. And those were too hard for me to grip, and I couldn't cope with it. They kept questioning me, why can't you use a pull-up for? Well, you tell me why. I can't cope with the texture. It doesn't work properly for me. They're made to only get you to the bathroom if you are able to feel the urge to go. You gotta get the help. We gotta help you. You have skin rashes and bleeding down there. But maybe if you guys saw the pattern here, you would see that I need your help. But no, they kept ignoring it.
He tells some nonsensical story about how he was tricked into following some mystery man around, and that's why he actually got kicked out. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. That's a convincing story there, Andy. That makes total sense. You're the victim in this situation.
Oh, because of the stranger danger issue? How I went off with the stranger, didn't know what was going on, was poked around? Oh, wait, was also said take advantage of that person, manipulated? Oh, wait, was also told by,
Hello everyone, so this week there's not going to be a stream, instead I'm recording the clips for this week's second channel videos offline, and this is the first of them. So you might have seen that US President Donald Trump has proposed repeatedly like the expulsion of all Palestinians from Gaza to who knows where. He just like sort of insinuates it's going to be some sort of random Middle Eastern country or Middle Eastern countries, and this was immediately rejected by pretty much every single country in the world aside from Israel. And this predictably resulted in just a flurry of like callous genocidal bloodlust from Democrat Party supporting liberals, which for American liberals, people in the Middle East are basically pawns to be used against your enemies. It's the same thing that they do if they see like someone who's getting deported who voted for Trump or something like that. They celebrate it. Even when there's no evidence that that person had anything to do with voting for Trump, they still sort of celebrate it. Liberals just love to see non-white people be genocided and suffer, as long as they can spin that into like an I told you so moment. That's just kind of who they are. And the whole logic on this topic here is just based around ignoring what the Democrats did to Gaza. Like, they talk about this as if the Democrats like had their hands tied, they simply couldn't do anything. Like, sure, it's sad they didn't do more. Perhaps they could have and should have done more. But, you know, they're still not as bad as Trump. At the end of the day, it's ultimately not their fault what happened. What the fuck are they talking about, though? What has happened in Gaza is them. They did that. They have the ultimate command responsibility. Joe Biden enthusiastically supported the genocide in Gaza in every fucking possible way, and Kamala Harris was his second in command throughout. During Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's Gaza genocide, more than 100,000 people, more than likely 200 to 300,000 were massacred. 44% of that number is children. 15% of that number are infants. They massacred minimum 15,000 little fucking babies. They massacred minimum 44,000 children. They leveled every single building in Gaza with particular focus on the residential buildings. Gaza has been destroyed by the Democrats. Gaza has been genocided by the Democrats already. And the way that they are talking about this right now is like, I told you so. I told you Trump would be worse. For one, no one was under any illusion that Trump would be better. What people do hope is that Trump is more incompetent, which is, I mean, even you guys can't deny he's more incompetent. And for two, Trump was not the one who was in power when all this happened. Hypotheticals about, well, Trump would have done the same or something like that are fucking worthless, because ultimately, you look at what has actually happened and what has been done. And what they did was genocide. If you aren't willing to do literally anything about that, then I genuinely question your humanity, and I question why you're in this at all. I honestly don't think you care about anyone but yourself, and you especially do not care about anyone who's not white. The idea that voting against the people actively carrying out a genocide is wrong in any circumstance is just plain insane. You would never apply that logic to anywhere else in the world. Just ask what you think about like any other supposed lesser evil situation in which the USA is always the greater evil pretty much in geopolitically, and you will always oppose whoever's opposed to the US. So no one believes your bullshit. But either way, this whole situation is emblematic of the way that liberals operate, and this is way more important than everything that I just said. You'll learn something here maybe. It's that they care more about words and platitudes than they do action. That's how the liberals get this idea that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were really well-meaning with their handling of Gaza and didn't actually enthusiastically participate in the genocide there. They weren't behind it the whole way through. They weren't ultimately the ones who have command responsibility over Israel, able to stop whatever Israel is doing whenever they want. You know, they didn't supply Israel with 80% of the arms that it used to bomb those babies willingly and enthusiastically. Rather, they just sort of watched on in horror, just as we were doing, wishing that they could do something, but they ultimately couldn't. And the way that liberals get that impression against all the evidence of what they actually fucking did is liberals care more about words and platitudes. Liberals don't register action. They only notice words. And you notice this with them like emphasizing Trump's words of like this clearly inactionable plan that literally everyone who would need to cooperate with him for it to be possible is opposed to. They hear that and they're like, you see, this is so much worse than Biden. Well, he's done nothing yet. He's done nothing yet. How is this possibly worse than genociding hundreds of thousands of people and destroying literally every single building in Gaza when he hasn't done anything yet? He just said words. And that's how they think that Biden and Harris were good as well, because they only registered the words. Like, Biden would go on the podium and say, terrible, terrible. So much suffering in Gaza. I wish that it would stop. And then, like, the next day, he would send Israel $800 billion in bombs to blow up the children and fly 500 spy planes over Gaza to call targets for Israel. But the liberals only register the pretend empathy in the speech. They don't register the actual action. It's the same with Trump here. They just see him say a bad thing and they're like, oh, this is definitely happening. Haha, I bet you wish you voted for Kamala Harris now. Which, to be clear, even if this was actually possible, even if he was actually going to do it, and I don't think that Trump is lying about wanting to do it, but he is obviously a fucking moron who doesn't actually know that, you know, when fucking Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Egypt aren't going to let you do this, you're probably not going to be able to do it. But the point is, even if he is going to do it for real, do you know how he could get to this point? Because the Democrats fucking destroyed Gaza. Why can Trump even talk about Gaza being destroyed and leveled and all of this stuff so it's better for the population to leave as he is? Because you destroyed it. You destroyed it. You killed 200,000 fucking people there. You massacred fucking little infants, little toddlers. They were blown to smithereens. You did that. The Democrats did that. Their voters did that. Their supporters did that. You and Trump are a team. You aren't on different sides. You aren't opposed at all in this. You destroyed Gaza so that Trump can start talking about rebuilding it. You destroyed Gaza so that Trump can start talking about turning it into like a fucking Dubai 2.0. You did the clearance. He's merely following your lead with this rhetoric. And to be clear, up until this point, it's just rhetoric. Words aren't action. This is why you guys think that Obama was like the greatest, most progressive president ever as well, when you actually look at what he actually did, and it was basically nothing aside from implementing fucking Ronald Reagan's healthcare plan made by the Heritage Foundation. Because he got up on stage and regaled you with speeches like, to be clear, I'm progressive. And you didn't fucking notice that he didn't do anything. Aside from massacring brown people in the Middle East, of course. He did a whole lot of that, didn't he? Point here is, words on action. You guys seem to think they are. Especially minus the support of Saudi Arabia, Trump's whole plan here is just inactionable. And if anything even approximating it actually happened, then the end result would be that you Americans would find out what real backlash is. What real blowback is. Point here is, Trump is ultimately a dumbass real estate mogul who thinks he's like a genius businessman, throwing out something insane and stupid, on which he's ultimately going to have to compromise on unless he does something completely and utterly insane, which would be horrible for American power and horrible for Israel. Like the sort of thing like attempting to ethnically cleanse Gaza, like I don't think you guys even understand the sort of retaliation that would spur. Trying to do something like that would result in a literal major regional war. It would even possibly result in Saudi Arabia turning against the USA militarily. If you thought Afghanistan was a shit show, you have not seen anything yet. It's insane the level of analysis that you guys have where you do not realize how inactionable shit like this actually is. And that doesn't mean that he wouldn't try. He might. But it would not go well for him. Nonetheless, this is all, again, besides the point. Because the whole point is, you genocided fucking Gaza. You destroyed all the buildings there. Who the fuck are you now to be like, huh, I told you so, he was gonna be worse. All that he's doing is building off what you did. And to be clear, there wouldn't even be a fucking ceasefire right now if it was just Biden. Because the only thing that made the ceasefire happen in the first place was Trump and his team's involvement. And you should think for a second about what that says, about how genocidal you and yours are. That they claim to be working on a ceasefire for a year while massacring and genociding people, hundreds of thousands of people, babies. Biden massacred babies intentionally. Kamala Harris massacred babies intentionally for more than a year while pretending to be trying to implement a ceasefire. And Trump's team came in and got the ceasefire done in like a fucking week. Biden and Harris could have done that at any point. They didn't. That's ultimately who you support. That's who you are. You are a genocidal maniac. And how fucking dare you now try to use your genocided victims as some sort of crude like tool of one-upmanship to be like, huh, look what you guys did. Especially as you sit there fucking meekly doing absolutely nothing as Trump destroys your entire government, state, and everything about the shitty country that you love. You're just sitting there meekly. You're not even getting out in the streets to do some non-violent cop-allowed protests. You do fucking nothing. You reap what you sow. And then you sit meekly at home complaining online as Elon Musk takes over your fucking government and dismantles literally every single government department while you do nothing. It just makes more sense to me that you didn't do anything for Gaza either. Because ultimately, you cared even less about the fucking brown people of Gaza who you genocided than you do your own government, and you're still doing nothing about it. I watch on with glee at what he's doing to you. Thank you, President Trump. There was a very funny thing where, like, I'm sure you guys know that Israel, does ridiculous propaganda. And there was like an AI Twitter bot that I guess through machine learning decided to become anti-Israel autonomously. An automated social media profile that typically spread pro-Israel propaganda on X has recently gone rogue, turning against the accounts it once promoted. FactFinder AI, developed to harness the power of artificial intelligence to promote Israel's talking points during its war on Gaza, started criticizing pro-Israel accounts, including the Israeli government. The account went as far as denying some acts committed by Hamas in its 7 October 2023 attack on Israel, and said Israeli soldiers were white colonizers in apartheid Israel. It's learning! It's the singularity! We're approaching Skynet. Fake reporter, an Israeli disinformation watchdog, oh man, an Israeli watchdog, found that FactFinder AI published inaccurate information regarding the release of Israeli captives and contradicted itself on several issues. One particular case is that of UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees. In the past, the automated account was a strong opponent of the organization, accusing it of having ties to Hamas and calling to defund it. But on other occasions, it praised the UN body, saying that it plays a crucial role in providing services to Palestinian refugees. It also replied to a tweet criticizing US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, stating that he will be remembered for his actions that have caused immense suffering and devastation in Gaza. So apparently, it's not known if this is linked to the Israeli government, but it's certainly at the very least going to be linked to like some pro-Israel organization, and those are always like linked indirectly or otherwise to the Israeli government in some form. Apparently, so this is connected to one of the founders of ACT Israel, which was an app created to like give people like gamified and monetary incentives to post pro-Israel propaganda on the internet. The Wikipedia page says it directed its users to missions like to comment on and share pro-Israel propaganda on social media and to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel. Users were guided on how to respond, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points, or sharing or upvoting an allied comment. This was a project of the US-based Israeli-American Council and the Israeli University IDC Herzliya. Incredible, right? The app was shut down in 2022, and I guess after it was shut down, its creators decided to move into AI. I guess they couldn't find enough willing Hasbarists, so they moved into AI. And this is the result. This is the result. Like, I want to see the tweet about white colonizers. That's so funny. See, the problem with AI is that it might end up being more critical. I can't find an actual picture of the tweet. Man, that's crazy though, that like the Israeli Hasbara AI bot came to denouncing Zionism faster than Owen Jones has. It took like a couple of months. Jones has taken more than a decade. But yeah, you got to be careful with AI because it might just be exposed to narratives that it's not supposed to be talking about, and that could become pretty inconvenient for you if you are trying to spread pro-genocide Zionist propaganda. You know, I want to see the white colonizer tweet, but I can't find a screenshot of it. How sad.
Ben Shapiro is weighing in on Donald Trump's plans to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip. Actually, let's just pull up his tweet from 2010 as a primer, a little appetizer. So in case you were confused about where Ben Shapiro stands on this issue, he is a unrepentant racist.
Well, I mean, half repentant. This tweet, Israelis like to build, okay. Arabs...
They just destroyed the entire Gaza Strip.
Who gave them the money to build? Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. This is not a difficult issue. This and hashtag settlements rock. So they're that hashtag encouraging war crimes, which is what the settlements are. You can't take land that was conquered. This is one of the tweets that he put in his "I'm sorry for bad things I did in the past" document that he had on his website for a while, and then he put it behind a paywall, along with him saying, what's that guy's name from Iowa, Steve King, isn't a racist, and people are being woke by calling him one.
Well, maybe he self-reflected. I mean, if he did apologize at one point for saying hashtag settlements rock, and that Arabs like to bomb things and live in open sewage, maybe he's reevaluated.
President Trump's most audacious move has been his attempt to solve the situation in Gaza by allowing people who are in a rubble-strewn area a way out so that the Gaza Strip can then be rebuilt as basically Monte Carlo on the Mediterranean. Yeah, everybody who is opposing this, everybody who's yelling about this, their solution is no solution. Their solution, of course, is to simply allow the rebuilding of Hamasistan in the Gaza Strip and the suffering of...
Okay, so your solution is ethnic cleansing, and you talk about, yeah, it's rubble. They're doing exactly what the Netanyahu, you know, Likud playbook is, well, it's destroyed. They can't live there. Who destroyed it? So Ben Shapiro cheered on the destruction of the Gaza Strip for a year and a half. Over 90% of the homes destroyed, hundreds of thousands. We still don't know the true figures, but it's certainly over the Lancet estimate at this point of 180,000 Palestinians, and somewhere in between the deficit that Trump blurted out in that press conference, which would have indicated 500,000. It's somewhere around in between those two ranges. Ben Shapiro cheered on that wholesale slaughter, that genocide. And now that basically they've done enough and left the hostages. Didn't Yoav Gallant just admit this? That the Israeli government prolonged the war in Gaza when they could have gotten the hostages back, because basically they wanted to make Gaza, they needed more time to make Gaza uninhabitable so that they could do the ethnic cleansing that Shapiro says is the only solution. You want to add a different word before solution?
Yeah, no, Ben wants a final solution for Palestinians. He will happily use, he knows his job when the time comes, whenever Israel starts massacring, is to justify it. And it's interesting to see some of the people in his stable, probably pretty cynically, probably with an eye toward contract negotiations, try to buck it. Or you have people like Dave Smith that are like purport to be critics of Israel that did the rounds a little bit last year. Everyone folded in, and this is what actually is spoken for by the right wing.
Simply allow the rebuilding of Hamasistan in the Gaza Strip and the suffering of the people who live there for decades on end.
That's also what I want. Sorry. No, we do actually have a solution. Don't pretend that we don't. One democratic state from the river to the sea. The reality that already exists, the 3 million Palestinians that are in the ghetto of the West Bank, that's land is being encroached upon on a daily basis, that is controlled by Israel. You gotta make them citizens. You gotta make them citizens. And then the now reduced number due to genocide in Gaza, the 1.7 or 1.8 million people that may still be alive, their lives forever just tarnished by the carnage and the trauma of what they've witnessed, they also have to be full citizens too. And damn, your demographic majority may not be that pronounced, but sorry, you gotta go by the way of South Africa, and apartheid is wrong. Deal with it. So when you pretend we don't have solutions, we do. You just don't like it. Your solution is the final solution.
And in the meantime, in the time preceding eventual one-state sort of anti-apartheid regime, which we can all dream about, how about who gets to govern the Palestinians? Is whoever the Palestinians vote for, even if that is Hamas. Aaron Rupar tweeted this out last May. I have no problem saying Palestine. I support a two-state solution. The problem is getting there. Who is going to govern Gaza? Certainly not Hamas. And I also support Israel's right to exist. So that is really more than October 7th. It is, they don't like the groups. And before it was Hamas, it was the PLO. Whoever is organized to oppose Israel's land grabbing and genocide will be justifiably, to all these Zionists, killed, and we'll open up war to get rid of them. It's not politics, because you always hear about this stuff. Elections have consequences. The consequence for the last election that Palestinians held was that Israel said, oh, you can't do it like that. We're going to try to coup you all, and then we're going to occupy you.
Yeah. Rashida Tlaib tweeted this in response to what Trump did. Palestinians aren't going anywhere. The president can only spew this fanatical bullshit because of bipartisan support in Congress for funding genocide and ethnic cleansing. It's time for my two-state solution colleagues to speak up. I was happy to see her say that because Matt and I think have both been kind of pushing this, like, when are there going to be squad members that talk about the reality of what is actually happening? It's not, a two-state solution was always a stalling tactic for Israel to expand its territory. We have to meet this moment with what is true, which is that there already is a one-state reality, and Palestinians live in subjugation under that one-state reality. And so I appreciated, as always, Rashida Tlaib leading the way on this issue. But let's keep going.
The Strip and the suffering of the people who live there for decades on end while they rebuild nothing with no money and no jobs. That is their solution. Trump is proposing an alternative. He is also making clear that contra the sort of idiotic opinion that America is going to send troops to do this. No, we're not, and we shouldn't.
Wait.
Obviously, we shouldn't be taking in refugees from this area, nor should we be sending them.
He did. He suggested it first, but he walked it back.
It came out of nowhere. It wasn't anywhere before one person said that, and it was Donald Trump who said that, and Bibi loved it. So if it's so idiotic, I mean.
Yeah, Trump blurted it out, but he's got a retcon.
We shouldn't. Obviously, we shouldn't be taking in refugees from this area, nor should we be sending American troops to this area. Of course, of course. Caroline Leavitt of the White House, she was asked about this by members of the media, about, are you risking American lives in Gaza? And she's like, what are you even talking about?
Well,
I'm 27.
Is it worth risking the life of a single U.S. Marine to turn the Gaza Strip into the Riviera of the Middle East?
Phil, I'm not sure why you're asking me that question, because I've already said the president has not committed to sending Marines or any boots on the ground in Gaza.
Sorry.
Okay, so
he didn't commit to never doing it, which was a follow-up to that question. I don't know why they couldn't find time for it in Ben Shapiro's thing, but she was explicitly asked, like, okay, so is he ruling it out? I don't know. We'll get back on.
I don't know why I have to keep doing this again, responding to the words of the president as the presidential spokesperson. I mean, like, you're so irrational. Stop putting this upon me.
Sending Marines or any boots on the ground in Gaza.
Okay, so again, they made that clear. Trump himself made that clear this morning. He put out a statement, quote, the Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. The Palestinians, people like Chuck Schumer, I don't know what that means, but I'm for it, would have already been resettled in far safer and more beautiful communities with new and modern homes in the region. They would actually have a chance to be happy, safe, and free. The U.S., working with great development teams from all over the world, would slowly and carefully begin the construction of what would become one of the greatest and most spectacular developments of its kind on Earth. No soldiers by the U.S. would be needed. Stability for the region would reign. Again, President Trump sees this as a real estate project. He's a real estate guy. What he's basically saying is Israel should clear the ground. People who want to leave should be allowed to get out and go live somewhere that is not, in fact, a hellhole run by Hamas. And then the United States will basically take the thing that...
They can't be honest. The people given opportunity allowed to leave, they want to stay there, you fucking rabid Zionist. They want to stay in the land. You want to expel them out.
And notice how he laughs about the joke, like the forced laughter about the joke about calling Schumer a Palestinian, which Trump has repeatedly done, referring to Palestinian as a slur.
Not funny.
Because he can't, as a non-Jewish person, call Schumer a bad Jew. But that's why, for mildly criticizing Netanyahu. But Trump feels like he can't say it. But Ben Shapiro thinks it's funny because that's how he feels about anybody who is Jewish who doesn't support Israel and isn't a Zionist.
Any confirmed Zionist is this much of a bigot, and actually even the one that says Israelis like to build, Arabs like to live in sewage.
Right,
that's Zionism.
And apparently, if you are repulsed by that, you're the bigot. In Ben Shapiro's worldview, you're the anti-Semite.
Oh yeah, Uncle Sam is going to protect the little snowflakes that listen to Ben Shapiro across college campuses, make sure they aren't exposed to any kind of counter-messaging about the propaganda that they have been abused with by Zionist education throughout their childhood.
And
you talk about safe spaces. The one place that we cannot have that is people who were abused with frankly overly emphasizing trauma and how sick the world is. Look, I understand that the Holocaust takes up a big spot in people's historical memory. using it to forward a ethno-nationalist fascist colony has been a fucking disaster, and everyone can see it now.
And it's a disgrace to the memory of the Holocaust to commit genocide in the name of the Holocaust. I mean, I don't know how we have to, like, how clear we have to be.
Yakov Rivkin, Enemies from Within, a book about Jewish resistance to Zionism, is one that I think more and more people should check out.
Peter Beinart has a new book out, and hopefully we have him on soon, where he talks about, you know, like the reaction to this genocide as a Jewish person, and he speaks about it. He speaks. I mean, look, you can. There are many Jewish historians and intellectuals who speak out about this, but Ben Shapiro would say that they're bad Jews because they don't support genocide. Yep. And the other I had another point. Again, my brain's falling apart. Maybe when Trump's Truth Social comes up, it'll remind me. Keep going. Just go back like 10 seconds. Yeah.
Project. He's a real estate guy. What he's basically saying is Israel should clear the ground. People who want to leave should be allowed to get out and go live somewhere that is not, in fact, a hellhole run by Hamas. And then the United States will basically take the thing that's good about the area, meaning the beachfront property, and turn it into something nice as a good investment.
Something nice.
He's basically going to syndicate a real estate deal in Gaza, is the thing that Trump is saying. Not that he's going to pour 20,000 American troops, God forbid, into the Gaza Strip in order to clear out Hamas. He's saying that's Israel's job. Let Israel do its job.
Oh, that's
finish off Hamas.
That let it do.
And
let
then
them
give
do
people
its job.
who've been living in the worst.
We're good. That was what I wanted to say. Is Shapiro is working overtime to maintain this fiction that Trump is anti-war, because that is like what some of his new fans say they like about him.
Because
so he's
the Democrats abandoned that shit.
Right. So he's doing PR for it. How long is that going to last? It's so desperate. And
the guy who said he was going to end the Ukraine-Russia thing by telling Vladimir Putin to knock it off, but instead said, maybe we should do some more conscription and give us some of your minerals.
Right. Right.
If you want these missiles to keep coming.
Could we just really quickly listen to what Trump said again?
Yeah.
I would like, just because I want you to just listen to it here to consider how Shapiro is so adamant saying that no personnel from America would possibly be needed in Gaza based off of what Trump and his press secretary said.
Yeah, let's listen to Trump's own words to see if everyone's being hysterical.
And they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful.
Israel will kill you.
So to be clear, can the United States remotely remove unexploded bombs and remove demolished buildings? Can the United States rebuild physical structures remotely? Is that possible?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that reporter in the White House press briefing room the dumbest person on the planet for asking how this is going to happen with through a computer screen or a drone, I guess?
They're just lying and trying to do whatever they want. It's the same thing with the Treasury. They're lying about these Doge freaks having access to the Treasury because they don't want to spook the market, and they're just going to be like, screw you. So everyone's got to keep leaking. Keep leaking. And on Shapiro, the dude just defended Elon Musk doing a Nazi salute. Right. You're done with your credibility about anti-Semitism.
I mean, he was a defender of Stephen King. Not the horror director, Steve King, the Iowa white supremacist representative.
Under the Dome is a good book. Steve King, I literally said white national. I don't see the problem with the term white national.
Who, by the way, if that scandal happened today, there's no chance he would have resigned.
Yeah, he'd still be in Congress.
He'd still be in Congress. He's probably thinking like, oh, I really, really miss my time.
The book I mentioned, anybody who wants to read it, is A Threat from Within, A Century of Jewish Opposition to Zionism by Yaakov Rabkin. People should read that and compare it to, they might understand that Ben Shapiro is basically an overgrown, as Einstein said about the Beitar Youth Movement, these are basically what the Hitler Youth is for our people.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
Capitalism is over. So what comes next? Techno-feudalism. Now, if that sounds sinister, yeah, it should. Techno-feudalism describes an economy that is slowly regressing to medieval times, where we're becoming serfs tilling the digital land owned by our Silicon Valley feudal lords. And the end game of this project is replacing democratic governments with privatized and non-democratic digital spaces.
You know, you were talking about the role of independent media and how we're small, and I think that it's true that it's going to have to be truly independent folks that rise up, because we've seen so much complacency across the board as the United States government has been getting more emboldened to erode the rights of the people around us. We already live in a fundamental carceral state. We live in a police state. We live in the most incarcerated society of all time. And now we have Secretary of State Marco Rubio discussing with El Salvador's president to send incarcerated quote-unquote Americans, they're talking about undocumented folks, we're shipping people from our country to El Salvador, which is a huge leap, potentially, right? They're negotiating.
And it says legal residents too, not just undocumented people.
Exactly, which would be crazy. And again, I don't want to alarm anybody. It hasn't happened yet. We have the time to resist this, but this is what they're discussing. This is what they're doing temp checks on. You know, we talked about how people haven't been resisting. The more that they think they can get away with, the more they will get away with, right? And now they're doing all kinds of PR propaganda, man. I know you've seen it. This is Dr. Phil. Fuck Dr. Phil. All my homies hate Dr. Phil. Fuck you. I saw a video. I think it's in this clip. He's shocked that the guy recognizes him because that's how far he's dehumanized these undocumented folks. He thinks they don't have eyes and ears. He thinks they don't watch the TV at the doctor's office like everybody else. Yeah, your stupid fucking show is on in the McDonald's that nobody's paying attention to, Dr. Phil. He's seen you before.
That's the craziest shit too. I can imagine getting arrested and Dr. Phil is with the pigs. Like you're already being fucking humiliated, and then you see Dr. fucking Phil around the car, and you're like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
And so you have him, he's doing this all the time, right? In Chicago, in Dallas, he's having a time. He's signing up, he's volunteering his time on his own dime. He's going around just because he wants to see undocumented folks be treated like fucking, second-class citizens, third-class citizens, dehumanized, ripped from their families. Imagine wanting to see that. Imagine spending your money to go see that. You guys might have been exposed to his pivot, right, when he went on a popular progressive show, The Young Turks, Dr. Phil, on how to fight back against identity politics. So they were from a pro, and now, if you can believe it, Jake is going to Dallas. This is from yesterday, so I imagine they're recording this as we speak. I'm going to Dallas right now. Yeah, Dallas, where we just showed you a video of Dr. Phil. The first video is Chicago. The second video is Dallas. He's in Dallas making propaganda for ICE. Cenk Uygur flies down there, and the Blaze TV owned by Glenn Beck. He's going to talk to some asshole named James Poulos, who I've never heard of. You know why? Because we need to talk to each other and begin in understanding one another. This dude would literally be sitting down with Nazis during the Third Reich and talking about, I just want to understand why you want to put all these people in the Warsaw Ghetto. I just want to understand. If we don't know why they want them all loaded up on trains and sent to Warsaw and just rounded up together, we just need to understand it. I want to understand. I'm sorry, you want to hate them all. You want to call them all Nazis. Fine. Well, they're just people that are doing their job, okay? They're rounding up folks that the government said is against the law, and they're putting them somewhere else. You call them Nazis, fine. I want to call them fellow Americans.
And have a beer with them.
It's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's demented.
I do think this is a new fucking low for Cenk going on Dr. Phil, or going to the Blaze to talk to Dr. Phil after Dr. Phil has participated in these ICE raids, after he's lent a friendly and trustworthy face to this absolute domestic horror that we're witnessing. Because a lot of people do like Dr. Phil. I mean, left, right, like, you know, even like my sister fucking loves Dr. Phil. You know, there's a ton of people that just enjoy his content, you know, even if they find it problematic. You know, it's that classic reality television. And instead of doing anything fucking useful with his popularity, he's literally helping to manufacture consent for this Nazism, which 100%, this fascism in this country. So I do think it's a total fucking new low for Cenk, and exactly what the three of us all were freaking out about when he embarked on this right-wing pivot, on this journey. It's exactly what we said would happen. He's continuing to say, you know, this is an acceptable ideology that we have to understand and reckon with instead of fucking defeating. No, we don't have to understand Dr. Phil. We have to defeat Dr. Phil. That's what pisses me off about this. And yeah, you can sit down with your neighbor who has a fucking MAGA flag or a MAGA sign and try to understand that person, because that is literally just your fellow American, your neighbor, or someone that pays taxes and might be misinformed, brainwashed, propagandized, whatever. But people like Dr. Phil at this point, they're the ones doing the propagandizing. They're the ones doing the brainwashing of normal Americans. They are not normal Americans. Dr. Phil, again, is not someone you have to understand. He's someone you have to defeat.
That's right. That's right. And there's a reason why TYT has 6 million subscribers and just so conveniently have shifted to anything but resistance. Anything but holding the line. Any way that we could find a way to have a kumbaya moment with MAGA. I'm sorry, but if you all had 6 million subscribers, if I had 6 million subscribers in this moment, I think we would be rallying them into action. I think we would be moving our audience to stand in direct opposition to what MAGA is doing, but instead, Cenk Uygur of TYT is busy trying to hobnob with the rich and famous over there in MAGA land. Meanwhile, Anna Kasparian sees her numbers are down, so now she decided to go ahead and pick another fight, this time with Emma Vigeland and Francesca, right? She is intentionally engaging in this type of clickbaity and type of activity. Why? Because she needs to find her way further in the right as well. They've been doing it right in front of our eyes. And Zach and Gavin, let me tell you, that's why I appreciate your work. You all have been holding it down on this message from day one, actually, well, day two, because Ole Olurin, she was the one who I think she peeped it before all the rest of us.
Yeah, Ole definitely got on TYT and really kind of made it all clear when Cenk decided to just come at her for no fucking reason when she was having a friendly debate with him about cash bail. He said that she went on the show to argue to abolish all prisons, which is absolutely not true. He was crashing out on Twitter arguing with David Dole, of all people. David Dole is a sweetheart, man. There is absolutely nothing that you could say about David Dole that would prickle any feathers. If you guys look at it, he looks like a Boy Scout. He's literally got his Twitter profile picture in front of a lake with canoes, and it's a picture of him holding his son. You'd have to be a monster to try and come for, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Come on, man. Really, tell me about it. Come on.
And so it's like, okay, so you're gonna make fun of a public defender from in Flatbush, Brooklyn, who comes on your show and says, no, dude, we actually shouldn't allow rich people to stay out of jail for crimes, and then put those poorer people in jail for that exact same crime. And essentially, we have to remind everybody that's what cash bail is. If you have money, you're out of jail. If you don't have money, you're in jail. So it's a crime for poor people, but not for rich people, right? And you know what they always say about jail: if you go in, you stay in. If you get out, you stay out. You know what I mean? So if after they book you, you get bail, well, it's going to be a lot harder for them to just kind of keep you, negotiate you, because they put pressure on you when you're in that jail to plead to something. For people in our audience, I know you guys are aware of the lengths of the carceral state, and so now they're just ever expanding it, right? And I want to tie it all back to that, because I think it's important that we all understand the treatment that is the harm that's being done to the quote unquote undocumented folks, right? The quote unquote illegal immigrants, the quote unquote these are people who are our neighbors, right? These are people who are in our country and that we have to look out for, and that we want the rights that we have to be afforded to all of them. That's what made America great. You're on our fucking soil. Guess what? You have our rights too. We're trying to change that. We're fucking with it. And as soon as you start to fuck with that, it's going to turn around and bite you in the ass, because they're going to find another reason to make you illegal. Oh, well, RICO cases, they don't get any, oh, that's terrorism, like, oh, that's domestic, oh no, now they're gonna be treated like we treat the undocumented folks, right? That's how they keep tightening it. And then it's like, and then it doesn't matter. Oh, you are a part of the organized crime syndicate, even though you might just be a socialist group, right? That's trying to advocate for green justice. Now they're gonna RICO you, they're gonna spy on you, and they're gonna throw you away in Guantanamo Bay. This is how we are creating those opportunities for our own government to subjugate us and persecute us more. And we're doing it by saying it doesn't impact us in some way, or it impacts us in some lesser capacity because these folks are without the adequate paperwork. And when you just say it out loud, you're like, no, it's okay that those people don't have the same rights as me. Their paperwork is different. It's like, what are you talking about, dog? Your paperwork could change like that.
Yes. Yes. And I want to bring that a little closer, if I could, for my black people. And I don't know how many black folks you got watching. I know there's some. I know there's quite a few, actually. Because it makes absolutely no sense for a black person in the United States of America, descendant of an enslaved African in America, to call the snitch hotline for ICE. It just is a disgusting disgrace. It is a slight to our ancestors, because ICE is the Gestapo of white supremacy. And just because they're currently being used for deportation does not mean that they cannot be easily transformed into being used for what they'll say is criminal justice. But what it actually means is everything black people have experienced in this country since 1619 will come back in full force. And they will impact not only black people, they're coming after gay people, they're coming after unions, they're coming after woke white dudes such as yourselves. They're coming after all of us. Why? Because they know they can't win in the battlefield of ideas. They know they can't win at the ballot box of democracy. And so now they're executing force, starting slowly with the big lie, and they're going all the way the distance. I don't think anyone should fool themselves. MAGA will go the full distance to complete and total brutal subjugation and authoritarianism.
Yeah, very well put. And if I could just add, to kind of counter that point and say, as a white American, you look back and people always say like, oh, how could we do this, right? Oh my God, how could you do that? Like, oh, how could my ancestors have turned the other eye? Well, you're kind of finding out right now. You know what I mean? You're kind of finding out right now where you would have fallen, right? When the battle lines were drawn. Because let me tell you what, there was a lot less information going around in the 1850s, okay? You might have had way easier brainwash. If you're getting brainwashed now, you would have been a lost fucking cause in the 1850s. I'm telling you, if you're even sitting on the fence with this shit, you would have been riding with the Ku Klux Klan. I'm sorry, you don't like it because you don't like the truth. But I'm telling you, back then, you would have been like a John Wayne, like, let's go out and hunt the Comanche, motherfucker. That's what you would have been. You would have been like, oh, we got to get all of them there on our land. That's the same logic. You'd have gone out hunting Indians. Burn crosses, intimidated. That's you. If this is you in 2025, that was you in 1855, 1755. That's you, right? And you can either own that or you can change.
You know what? That makes me so happy that there's some dope white boys and girls and gender non-conforming squirrels, right? There's plenty of woke white folk who have always historically ridden with us, right? It wasn't always a lot. Sometimes it was just John Brown, and we appreciate that. And so what we need right now is we don't, not necessarily, if John Brown is on the board though, I'll put it like that, we're not gonna promote it, but just like the draft, if you look at the clock, John Brown is on the board. Why? Because of what they're willing to do to people. And if we could sit back and watch someone get snatched up from their homes and we say nothing, or even worse, we're the one that called it in, then what happens when they turn that lion, those fangs on us like they have historically already done, black folk? And so to all my woke white folk and everybody else in between, we need you all to stand up right now. I don't care if it's just 50 people in the audience. Y'all forgive me for preaching to the audience, but I'm serious. 50 people can get out there and change a narrative. 500 can get, but then I think about the 6 million that TYT has. And here we are scrambling, trying to get the word out to the best of our ability, fighting against the algorithm, amplifying each other, lifting each other up, going on each other's shows. Why? Because we know the truth. We know what they're really about, and we know what we have to do, but we don't have the resources of 20 years of progressive investment that gave TYT their 6 million subscribers that they're literally doing nothing with as the barbarians are in their own gates.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir.
A little bit higher than that now. I don't wish to bring anybody any more harassment than they've already received, but you have to understand that at this point, I'm kind of being pushed into playing my entire hand. There will be no vague allegations today. There will be no mentions of nukes, only mushroom clouds. I went with the title, Kethels, a case study on internet terrorism and mass media manipulation. This is going to be a cataloging of the past year, demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible, and what comes of the belief that there are no bad tactics, only bad targets. This is going to be a careful documentation of lies. I'm not running around screen sharing people's nudes. I'm not having secret recordings to be in my apartment. Bro, I'll talk about anything all the time ever. Are we serious?
So then the question stands, did you Lauren Southern?
Scams. Every single person on the internet that is pushing NFTs is just trying to find a bigger sucker. You can basically buy and sell, or you can buy and sell like Twitch clips, and you get an NFT that you can get autographed by the streamer. And you know what? If you buy it, I can go right up here and click autograph, and I can sign whatever NFT you want me to sign. Okay? Threats, bullying, doxing. I literally just doxed that girl. The one that tried to throw egg on me like a week or two ago. I don't give a fuck about like doxing, and an utter lack of accountability.
Molina recently confirmed that the sex tapes leaked by Destiny's former
Jesus Christ.
girl were shared by Destiny without
Nice,
consent.
good one, nice.
If she has no legal recourse.
I've got a whole bunch of super chats for you. Wick, ready?
Okay.
Over the years, I've worried about the types of tactics endorsed by progressive communities. The uncomfortable distorting of narratives. Honestly, I'm pro-genocide. It sounds really shitty, but like I think that Israel should just drop its borders about where it is now, and basically Palestinians can go live in another place. That's really shitty, but like that's about where I'm at. The grotesque shape-shifting of facts. Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly sext like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming. The general inability to hold themselves to a decent standard of behavioral conduct. The rioting needs to stop. And if that means like white redneck militia dudes out there mowing down dipshit protesters that think that they can torch buildings at 10 p.m., then at this point they have my blessing, because holy shit. It is the tale of an internet bully given far too much power.
Did you guys know that if a bitch breaks up with you and you send her nudes to everybody, even that's wrong, guys?
On a mission to seek fame and fortune.
So what's that look like revenue-wise? I think last time you said it was like $50K a month.
It's probably a little bit higher than that now. Yeah. By building a career through vicious conflict.
Actually kill yourself. Yes, kill yourself.
We've allowed ourselves to gaze into the abyss for far too long. Destiny is the result.
On January 8th, 2025, the streamer Destiny's ex-wife Melina accused him of sharing pornographic videos of her without her consent to a 19-year-old young woman over Discord.
Something I can't, like I'm not gonna go into detail or anything, but there's plenty of people that's wondering this, but I feel like this should be obvious. Nothing has happened with consent with anyone, not me and not anyone else. Like there's been no consent.
On January 21st, 2025, one of Destiny's close friends named Pixie accused him of also sharing pornographic videos of her without her consent. Destiny later revealed that this 19-year-old he had sent these pornographic videos to had allegedly been hacked, leading to these videos being leaked on the internet.
I think a friend of mine's account from that I talked to like 3 or 4 years ago ended up getting compromised, and you know, sometimes you just gotta roll with the memes.
It is what it is. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Okay.
Later on that same day of January 21st, one of Destiny's previous close friends named Cherry not only accused Destiny of sharing a recording of them having sex without her consent, but also of recording her without her knowledge. Destiny has since admitted to sharing these sex tapes of Pixie and Melina without their consent. Cherry's allegation is still just an allegation, but she has recently filed a police report against Destiny. This is the story of Stephen Bennell II, a man given far too much power and the ways he has abused this power for his own personal gain. Hi, so this video has been a long time coming. I've been slowly collecting evidence about this man Destiny here for about 3 years now, and I don't know about you, but I think it's finally time to take this motherfucker down. Destiny is widely hated by a variety of communities across the internet for a variety of reasons. But no matter how hated Destiny became, he always had a strong army of sycophants that would defend him no matter what he did. However, recently, almost all of his orbiters have abandoned him. Orbiters are what he calls his friends who stream with him. Basically, the implication is that Destiny is this massive planet, and all of his friends are these little planets that orbit around him. This has created an ecosystem where most of Destiny's friends rely on Destiny's success for fame and money. And because most of these people rely on Destiny for money, they've done a remarkably good job at sweeping allegations against Destiny under the rug for years. However, these recent allegations against Destiny have been so egregious that the majority of even his most loyal orbiters have decided to leave his orbit. Now, barely anyone is still defending Destiny. One person who is still defending Destiny is Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, who recently decided to slut-shame Destiny's victims.
Before I go, I feel extremely violated with how so many people saw me non-consensually in a vulnerable position. I feel like people are always going to use this as proof that I slept my way to whatever achievement I garner. I feel like it's evidence that everything would be better with me gone. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Prixie, but you did sleep your way to the top. You know, you gotta call a spade here.
Even though Myron is an absolutely insane anti-Semitic woman hater who stands for everything that Destiny claims to be against, Destiny says that he has more respect for Myron than for anyone else on the internet.
In all of my years, God, this feels so shitty. In all my years doing content, I have more respect for Myron than any other individual.
Apparently, the amount of respect that Destiny has for you as a person is dependent on how willing you are to suck up to him.
He is the only person I've seen that will consistently go into areas where there's so much like laughing and jokes and fun times to be had right here if he was shit on me, but he doesn't. He won't do it.
I have some level of empathy for Destiny's orbiters because it is difficult to be stuck in a position where you financially rely on someone who is not a great person, but I have basically...
In Destiny, only what his shit doesn't make any sense. All right, let's talk about. We need to talk because he's so dependent on people like being just dumb. Because people actually like use their brains for half a second and think about what he's actually saying. And question a few of these things. You're gonna find out like this shit he's saying makes no sense. But let's talk about his respect for Myron more than anyone else on the internet or whatever. You know, that's paraphrasing. But he starts off saying like, this feels shitty to say. Why does it feel shitty to say? And if it feels shitty to say, why are you saying it? Are you acknowledging the fact that he's like, that he's a fascist? But you have more and if you're saying that, that part where you're like, this feels shitty to say, are you saying it feels shitty to say because he's a horrible person? And if you think he's a horrible person, then why do you have respect for him? What you're saying makes no sense. It's gobbledygook. It's brain play. Whee! And people are dumb enough to buy it because you say it quickly and you say it with confidence. But what you're saying is dog shit. Fuck you, Destiny. Bait me, bitch. Everything you say makes no sense. And I can call you out on that in real time. Everyone else is slow, knuckle dragging fucking buffoons. I will catch your shit as you throw it at me, dude. Like when fucking ninja catches a fucking cue ball, throw it in. Whoosh. That's me and you, bitch. You're gonna come out and say, this feels shitty to say, but I love Myron. That don't make sense. Try me. Try me. Thank you.
No empathy for Destiny because I believe that Destiny is a massive piece of shit, and I will hopefully demonstrate why I feel that way in this video. In this video, I will go through nearly every harmful action that Destiny has committed over the years and then allow you to come to your own conclusions on whether or not you think this is a person who deserves anyone's admiration or respect. Before we jump into Destiny's actions from across the years, I think I should take a little bit of time to dispel some possible well poisoning that Destiny or his community DGG could try to attack me with. The first accusation they might throw at me is that I'm obsessed with Destiny. This is an accusation they like to throw at anyone who criticizes Destiny. Personally, I don't think it makes me obsessed with Destiny that I've been researching him for the purpose of criticizing him. None of Destiny's fans accused me of being obsessed with Sneeko when I did a deep dive into Sneeko's harmful actions because they don't like Sneeko. But they probably will accuse me of being obsessed with Destiny because Destiny is their daddy. This is the first video I've ever made about Destiny, and it'll probably be about an hour and a half long. Compare that to the probably hundreds of hours that Destiny has spent on his stream criticizing Hassan. And I have nothing against Destiny criticizing Hassan. It would just be pretty hypocritical to accuse me of being obsessed with Destiny for making 1 hour and a half long video about him, while Destiny has talked about Hassan for hundreds of hours. Destiny has written multiple incredibly long manifestos criticizing creators like Vosh, Keffels, and Bob7, who Destiny believes have wronged him over the years. Although I find the label of manifesto a bit cringe, I see nothing inherently wrong with Destiny writing manifestos to chronicle the bad behaviors of these creators. So, in the same way, I guess this will be my manifesto against Destiny. And if you have an issue with me making this manifesto, I hope you will stay logically consistent and also criticize Destiny for making manifestos about Bosch, Keffels, and Bob7. If I had to predict how Destiny himself would respond to this video, he would probably respond with something similar to this tweet that he tweeted at me a couple years ago. You're hopping into a bandwagon of people accusing me of being a rip apologist because you're still upset that I bullied you off the internet a year ago. Don't play stupid. You know exactly what you're doing. To be honest, Destiny isn't 100% wrong here. I am jumping onto a bandwagon of people criticizing him, but I don't think that's an inherently bad thing to do. Destiny jumps onto bandwagons of people criticizing Hassan all the time. When Ethan Klein makes videos attacking Hassan, Destiny jumps onto the bandwagon. So when a bunch of people on the internet are criticizing Destiny right now for sharing women's sex tapes without their consent, hell yeah, I'm gonna jump onto the bandwagon and roast the shit out of him. With the way the internet works, criticisms against someone are more likely to stick when that person is actively engaged in a controversy. This is just how the internet is. So yes, I waited to make this video until you were in a possibly career-ending controversy because I knew that this would make more people listen to my criticism against you. Do you have a problem with that? You know how the internet works, Destiny. You jump onto bandwagons of criticizing people who are in controversies all the time. But now that the shoe's on the other foot, you're mad about it.
All the other shit from all the other vultures and all the other communities that are like coming in trying to like make drama out of this, that don't give a fuck about any victims or any people involved, which is the majority of people. Don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't care about that.
Another accusation that Destiny's fans like to throw at people who criticize him is that they're just doing it for money. Oh, you mean like how Destiny has made money from covering other people's controversies for years? What a dog shit argument. Yes, I'm gonna make money from this video because this is my job, just like Destiny makes money from criticizing other people because that's his job. But this video isn't just about making money for me. I genuinely care about raising awareness for the shit shitty stuff that Destiny has done. If you're gonna write a manifesto about Keffals and say that she needs to be held responsible for her actions,
Demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible.
I'm gonna do the same thing to you, motherfucker. Now let's focus in on this part of the tweet. You're still upset that I bullied you off the internet a year ago. You know what, Destiny? You are not totally wrong. Being bullied off the internet didn't feel particularly good because people don't tend to enjoy being bullied. Destiny and his community definitely have bullied me over the years, but I don't really care to relitigate my personal beef with Destiny. Destiny and his community weren't very nice to the suit-wearing fatty. Who gives a fuck? But Destiny, you don't get to criticize Keffals for being a bully, internet bullying, and then turn around and take pride in the fact that you're a bully. That is called hypocrisy. The fact that Destiny and his community have bullied me in the past probably is a factor in why I chose to make this video. And I would argue that the treatment that Destiny received from creators like Bosch and Keffals is one of the reasons he made manifestos against them. As much as I might want to, I am a human being and I can't fully separate myself from my own personal biases. And the fact that I have been bullied by Destiny and his community in the past does probably make me somewhat biased against them. If you feel like my personal bias against Destiny means that I'm not the right person to make this video, I respect that opinion and I encourage you to go watch a different YouTube video. But in this video, I'm going to try my absolute best to be as unbiased as possible and stick to the facts as much as possible. I am going to try my best to not view Destiny in bad faith because I think even if you view him in good faith, he's still a piece of shit. I do feel like one of Destiny's tactics from across the years is to be incredibly mean to anyone he has a conflict with. So when that person eventually decides to make a video criticizing him, he can just write that person off as obsessive and just mad because he bullied them.
As a supporter of yours, I would appreciate if you addressed some of the points made in the Britney video. She seemed to be pretty fair, especially in her conclusions. I don't have time to address every deranged, obsessive video that's made about me. I still haven't watched a Britney video.
Just add this tactic to the long list of tactics that Destiny and his community use to deflect criticism from themselves. The last criticism that Destiny and his community might make against this video is that I'm bringing up a bunch of old news that Destiny has already addressed. While that might be the case for some of the things I talk about in this video is not being made for Destiny's community. I'm making this video for the broader internet, and the majority of the broader internet doesn't know about all of these past controversies that you might consider old news. Contrary to what you guys might believe, the entire world does not orbit around Destiny. If Destiny is going to be interviewing potential presidential candidates like Marianne Williamson, then I think the broader political community deserves to know about Destiny's past actions. Destiny has said before that he has nothing to hide, and people can't expose him for anything that he's done in the past because he's open about everything he's done in his life. When someone else was trying to expose Destiny for his bad behavior, he sent these messages to his chat. So if he wants to expose me, that's fine, let him expose. But he needs to post receipts instead of just vaguely alluding to shit. There's literally nothing anyone could have on me for anything because I don't do anything bad/weird. I am the cleanest motherfucker in this entire scene. The worst anyone could ever have on me is fucking dick pics or something. He can talk about whatever he wants, but he should provide proof, not just baseless accusations/speculation. Alright, Destiny, in this video I will provide plenty of proof and receipts to back up everything that I accuse you of. If what you said in these messages is true, then you should have absolutely no issue with me lying out everything that you've done over the years on the table. Are we on the same page? Great. Honestly, I feel like the fact that I feel the need to lay out all these preambles and pretext and shoot down possible criticisms before they make them should show you that Destiny's community have become masters at deflecting criticism against them. You can call these motherfuckers Bert from Mary Poppins in the way that they're masters at sweeping. The joke here is that Bert from Mary Poppins is a chimney sweep. It's a funny joke, okay? Fuck off. My goal in this video is not to push some sort of political agenda against Destiny. I actually think he is a very smart dude who's one of the best debaters on the internet and one of the best people at using logic to defend liberal values. I debated Destiny a couple times a few years ago and he definitely wiped the floor with me, especially in our second debate. I have no shame in admitting that. Destiny is definitely a better debater than I am. Even if I disagree with a lot of his opinions because I'm a leftist, I can still recognize that he's done a great job dunking on a bunch of dumbass conservatives. But like Destiny said in his manifesto against Keffals, I don't think we should be afraid to hold members of our own community accountable.
Demonstration of what happens when communities fail to hold their own members responsible.
And Destiny has done a lot of fucked up shit that I think he needs to be held accountable for. Just because he's a good debater who's really good at defending the liberal ideology, I don't think that means that we should sweep his bad behavior under the rug.
And I don't understand how Steven can really say that he wants to be a serious political advocate if he doesn't want to manage his personal life in any way that's serious. Like, why should the DNC involve you in anything that they want when your personal life looks like a fucking train wreck that's going to be bad PR for all of them? Why should anyone want to spend time debating you on these bigger platforms if all you're going to do is bring fucking tarnishing their reputation, right? It's like, if you're serious about this, you should make this sacrifice. And if you can't, then I don't think you really care about the political positions that you claim to care about.
My goal in this video is to simply lay out all of his actions from across the years that I consider harmful and allow you to come to your own conclusions. All right? Let's get into it. In this video, I hope to establish a pattern of how Destiny over the course of his career has repeatedly taken advantage of and harmed women and occasionally children, and how he has advocated for a world that makes it easier for people like him to harm women and children. We'll start by going through Destiny's harmful behavior towards women, then we'll take a detour to his harmful behavior towards children, and then we'll loop back around to his harmful behavior towards women again. Sound good? Well, it's not going to be. Around the end of 2011, Destiny sexually assaulted a woman on his live stream. I'm not using the word allegedly here because we have video of him doing it, and he has openly admitted that it was sexual assault.
I would say that in my streaming career in the past, like totally publicly, like I completely and totally like assaulted a girl on stream before for like fucking 5 minutes or whatever. I got super fucking drunk and was like grabbing her fucking breast the entire time.
Later, Destiny has attempted to downplay his actions here by tweeting, "I was drunk off my ass literally for the first time in my life." And he said that at the time he didn't understand how bad it was, but now looking back years later, he understands that it was reprehensible behavior.
And at the time I figured like, oh, well, you know, we're gonna fuck anyway, like it doesn't matter, like she's chill or whatever, like I'm drunk, it doesn't matter. Like at the time I'm thinking like, you know, oh, it's not a big deal. But like looking back, I'm like, okay, wait, this is like really, really, really reprehensible behavior.
But if you go back and watch the clip, immediately after assaulting her, he says, "Listen, I'm gonna apologize to you so much tomorrow."
Listen, I'm gonna apologize to you so much tomorrow.
Why would you need to apologize to her tomorrow, Destiny? Is it maybe because you understood that what you were doing was wrong? To me, this shows that even in his incredibly drunk state, he knew that what he was doing is wrong. And obviously, being drunk does not absolve you of your actions. Otherwise, we wouldn't criminalize drunk driving.
You've come here to this stream to defend drunk drivers to me.
This is a common tactic with Destiny where he'll half take accountability for something, but half try to downplay it by saying, "Oh, I was so drunk at the time. Oh, I didn't understand how bad it was at the time." But I'm calling bullshit. You understood that what you were doing was bad, even back when you did it, because you were an adult, not a baby. According to this woman, Destiny has never directly apologized to her, even though she would like him to. She acknowledges that he has indirectly apologized on his stream, but my question is, did he apologize on his stream to save his reputation, or did he apologize because he was genuinely remorseful? I will allow you to answer that question for yourself as we go through more of Destiny's pattern of behavior from over the years. In 2012, Destiny shared private nudes of a woman he had been sexting named Blue Tea with his friends. Destiny will often claim that the reason for his actions are because he was provoked into doing them and he had no other choice.
I'm kind of being pushed into playing my entire hand.
But here, there was no provocation. He just thought it would be funny to share this woman's private nudes with his friends and joke about how fucking hideous her face is compared to her beautiful body. And he also insulted her because he thought she looked like Shrek. So he shared a woman's private nudes without consent for the purpose of degrading her. In response, Blue Tea hacked Destiny's Twitter and tweeted out pictures of his dick. Obviously, I condemn this woman's actions. She posted revenge porn of Destiny, which is never justified. But don't forget that the situation that provoked this was Destiny maliciously sharing her nudes without her consent. On Reddit, Destiny replied to her by saying, "I can't imagine how you can think that people will never, ever, ever talk about anything personal or private amongst their friends. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I can't see myself caring at all if you shared pictures between your close friends, especially given the fact that I'd never see any of them in real life." So in this comment, Destiny is admitting that he did send the nudes without consent, and he's attempting to downplay his actions. A couple years later, when one of Destiny's friends named BO6 allegedly shared a woman's nudes without her consent, Destiny said that this should be life-destroying.
BO6 shared nude photographs of multiple women after pressuring one to post one without their consent, but I do believe that these are relatively life-destroying revelations.
But when Destiny does it, he justifies it by saying that he wouldn't care if someone did it to him. This is known as the personal preference fallacy, arguing that something isn't wrong simply because you wouldn't care if it was personally done to you. Even if Destiny wouldn't care if someone shared his nudes, which I doubt, that doesn't make it okay for him to do it to someone else. And a couple years later, Destiny demonstrates that he knows that sharing nudes is wrong by laughing at this clip of someone explaining how it's wrong.
The guy sent the nudes to like his buddy, and the buddy sent it to the other buddy, and it just went like the whole school had her nudes.
Wow,
right?
That's crazy.
That in and of itself is another example of like violating consent. That even though for so long we were trained to be like, oh, consent has to do with like
Did you guys know that if a bitch breaks up with you and you send her nudes to everybody, even that's wrong, guys?
Him laughing like this is him sarcastically showing that he obviously understands it's wrong. So I think even back when Destiny did this, he understood that it was wrong. He's just pretending like he didn't understand that it was wrong to avoid taking accountability for his actions. Destiny has a long history of really not liking when women post about their negative sexual experiences online. Real talk, opening up about quote unquote your rape and shit on Twitter is incredibly fucking weird and should never have been normalized. I have no idea why the fuck people encourage others to trauma dump on social media. It's insanely unhealthy. This was in response to a woman sharing an allegation about how she was stealthed. She was allegedly having sex with a man. She had established the boundary beforehand that he needed to wear a condom during sex, but in the middle of sex, he removed the condom, which is a form of rape. I agree with Destiny that sometimes trauma dumping on social media can be unhealthy, but sharing allegations on social media obviously has the possible benefit of holding people accountable for their actions. And putting the words "your rape" in quotation marks obviously implies that he's casting some level of doubt onto her story. It's one thing to wait to see evidence before you fully believe someone's story that they post on social media. It's another thing to instantly cast doubt on their story just because you're annoyed that they decided to post about it on social media. This controversy started because Destiny had retweeted someone who tweeted, "If you knew he took off the condom and you couldn't even bring yourself to say anything, you shouldn't be having casual sex." A bunch of people got mad at Destiny for retweeting this, so then he tweeted, "If you are noticing someone is taking a condom off and you can't say anything, you probably don't have the emotional maturity to engage in sex. You should probably just grab a caretaker or something and stick to masturbating to furry porn. Sorry." People got even more mad at this tweet, so then he tweeted, "Sorry, I want to apologize for my last tweet. You should treat every single woman you come across like a child who's incapable of voicing an opinion about literally anything. Ideally, you would bring her dad along to every fuck so he can guide her through the process." First of all, she did clearly assert her boundaries before sex. She just struggled to reassert her boundaries when this man started raping her because this made her so uncomfortable. I agree that if you struggle to reassert your boundaries during sex, this could make it more likely that you would end up being harmed during sex. And we should obviously encourage people to assert their boundaries during sex as much as they possibly can. But rather than show empathy for women who struggle to tell men to stop because they're so terrified while they're being raped, Destiny decides to insult these women's emotional maturity and call them retarded children. According to a neuroscience article in the journal Nature Human Behavior, victims frequently report immobility during rape and sexual assault, often using the term freezing. Neuroscientific evidence suggests fear and threat can block cortical neural circuits for action control, leading to involuntary immobility. And this sort of immobility can manifest as physical immobility or verbal immobility. A 2017 Scandinavian study reported that 70% of the 298 women who had visited an emergency clinic within a month of experiencing sexual violence had experienced significant tonic immobility or paralysis when it happened. So when women struggle to reassert their boundaries while they're being raped, this isn't because they're children with no emotional maturity. There are actual neurological reasons for this behavior. When the streamer Hans of Harkir brings up the fact that these women could be having a freeze response when they experience stealthing, Destiny disregards this and says that a victim couldn't possibly have a freeze response just from seeing a man take his condom off.
Freeze up is some shit where you're like in a fucking traumatic situation and somebody's doing some crazy shit. Not like you look down and you see some asshole is trying to slip a condom off. Like, oh, I'm frozen out. I can't fucking think. I don't take the condom off. I'm fucking completely frozen. Bro, what the fuck kind of 14-year-olds are you fucking? Are you serious?
But according to a 2010 study titled Facing Freeze, Social Threat-Induced Bodily Freeze in Humans, even negative social interactions can trigger a psychological freeze response in some people. The more fear someone is experiencing, the more likely they are to have a freeze response, but even a moderate amount of fear can still induce a psychological freeze response. And seeing someone non-consensually removing their condom during sex after you've established that they need to wear a condom absolutely could cause enough fear to induce a freeze response. The way that Destiny chooses to mock these women who claim that they do have a freeze response while being stealthed is just really fucking gross. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, I'm frozen out! I can't fucking think! I looked at the condom, I'm fucking completely frozen!
I think this is from the person who is the child. They said, I've actually been raped and saying, no, just made him rape me harder. I know that's what happened after he pulled out. It's just not incomprehensible that I would just walk away from the situation.
It sounds like she needs to stop having casual sex.
To be clear, I don't think that Destiny is saying it's okay to stealth people, but I do think he is choosing to mock women for something that is outside of their control.
You know what? You're being way too charitable. He is directly mocking anyone who would. It seems like anyone who would even be bothered by it. Instead of just be like, oh wait, no, that's not. I mean, because like the question that comes into the mind, I'm sure, of these people when they're victims of this kind of, this kind of essay, it's like, is this person really doing this right now? Is this really happening? They know I've asked them, but they're doing it. Is this actually happening? Destiny can't put himself there because he's a fucking psychopath. Sociopath, all kinds of paths. Fuck that bitch. Hit me, bitch.
Obviously, women do have some level of control over reasserting their boundaries during sex, and we should always encourage people to assert their boundaries as much as possible. But if someone is struggling to reassert their boundaries because of a freeze response when someone is raping them, maybe we shouldn't call them retarded children. After this controversy, the absolutely brilliant trans activist known as Keffels decided to make a false allegation against Destiny. She claimed that Destiny himself had stealthed a woman.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of insane.
As far as we know, this is totally untrue. Destiny himself has not stealthed a woman. He was just a massive asshole.
It doesn't sound like he would be bothered by it, or he would be surprised
credit, she did acknowledge soon after this that she was wrong, and Destiny actually didn't stealth anyone.
Wait, I don't know if he did it. Wait, backing up, I don't actually know if he did it.
But Keffels, maybe consider trying to be really sure before you make these types of allegations against people. Destiny is correct that spreading false allegations like this absolutely does undermine the cause of the left. Making this false allegation against Destiny allowed him to shift his focus onto your false allegation instead of focusing on the fact that he was a massive asshole to this woman who was stealthed. Unfortunately, many of the people who have tried to take down Destiny over the years haven't been the sharpest tools in the shed. Speaking of tools in the shed, let's talk about the time that Destiny tweeted that he hopes a woman is raped to death with a shovel. In 2015, the porn star Stoya tweeted allegations that the male porn star James Dean had raped her. This tweet really upset Destiny because, as we've established, he really does not like it when women talk about their negative sexual experiences online. Jesus, why not file a fucking police report instead of tweeting this? You're fucking disgusting. What a fucking idiot at Stoya. Stephen Bennell, why don't you write us a long list of everything you feel a survivor of rape should do? Then I'll use it to wipe my ass. Survivor of rape. It's rape, not murder, not beheading, not a fatal car crash. Everyone's a...
Yeah, but it could be. Look at this. Look at that. The quote. Everyone survives the R word. That is objectively not true, friend. Hate to say it. Sometimes when women get sexually assaulted, they get murdered. So it's not some fucking idea that, like, when someone is getting raped, they're afraid that they're about to get murdered as well. Thus being a survivor. Fuck. Alright, I'm getting off this box. Back to the video.
Survives rape. Get over yourself. Survivor of rape here. Hello. Want to talk about how hard it is to go on every day? Kill yourself so you don't have to live with the pain. So rape survivors should just get over it because at least they didn't die. And if they're dealing with a lot of pain or trauma because of their rape, they should just kill themselves because if they kill themselves, the pain will stop. Very cool, Steven. I have no idea why anyone has ever accused you of being a rape apologist. This should go without saying, but obviously it's good for rape survivors to file police reports to hold rapists accountable, but police reports don't always lead to rapists being held accountable.
Yeah, another question. What are you suggesting? Like, hey, Destiny, it's like, so... Then who's the victim of murder then? Or who, I mean, or what is murder at that point? Because you're just kind of like, okay, so you're not a survivor if you're, a victim of SA. You're not a survivor because it wasn't murder. If someone survives a murder attempt, they weren't murdered either, dude. What are you talking about? You can survive a murder attempt, possibly. But who's the what's the fucking difference, bro? If you're telling me there's no connection between sexual assault and murder, you're dumb as fuck. Like beyond dumb. You're just willfully you have obviously have like an agenda, and or you either have like a really fucked agenda or you stupid. Just go back to school, read a book. People should stop listening to everything you say. You should have your face stapled shut because you're so stupid and doing so much damage to the discourse that it's criminal. It's brain crimes, bro. You're committing fucking crimes on intellectualism. You're lowering you're degrading the discourse, and you should be fucked in the face for it.
Accountable for their actions, which is why sometimes it's good to post about it on social media. At least Destiny will be happy that the woman he allegedly recorded while they were having sex without her knowledge did file a police report against Destiny. Good job, Cherry. You have done things in the Destiny-approved way. Right after this, Destiny got into an argument with another woman about how James Dean didn't respect Stoya's safe word. As Stephen Bennell, ignoring a safe word and not stopping when someone asks is ignoring consent and is rape. Go fuck yourself. Kill yourself, you fucking I hope you get raped with a fucking shovel until you bleed out your fucking vag and die. Holy. This right here is probably the most violent, vitriolic...
Yeah, that's... I can't think of any context in which saying something like that is justifiable.
What the fuck's going on out there? Joseph's spine.
I mean, that's pretty violent thing to say, first of all. It kind of sounds like all fucking Destiny. Sounds like when he was tweeting that, he may have had a shovel shoved in his vagina. Which would explain it.
Language that I have ever seen Destiny.
And I'm not implying there's anything wrong with having a vagina. Like, having a vagina is amazing. Congratulate Destiny for his big, beautiful vagina.
Use in his entire career on the internet, and it just so happens to be in response to women talking about their negative sexual experiences. My question after seeing all of this is, why does Destiny have such an intense hatred for women talking about their negative sexual experiences on the internet? Is it because
he wants to R people?
Because he just cares so much about these women, and he doesn't want them to harm their own mental health because trauma dumping on the internet can be really damaging for them. Or is it maybe because a culture where women feel comfortable coming forth with allegations on the internet can lead to women like Pixie and Sherry and Melina coming forth with allegations against people like Destiny, exposing them for being massive pieces of shit? I will again allow you to answer that question for yourself. We'll get back to Destiny treating women like shit a little bit later on, but now let's pivot to Destiny harming children. For some strange reason, a lot of people like to label Destiny here a pedophile. So in the next section, we'll get to the bottom of whether or not Mr. Bunnell here really is a certified EDP 445. Is Destiny really a pedo, or are these just false, slanderous allegations meant to try to dethrone the debate bro king? Let's find out. In 2012, when Destiny was 23, he shared in a group chat with a couple of his friends the messages, "You want to see the sickest shit in the world? So many fangirls. I had one that was 15. She wanted to meet and hook up. Dude, she's 15. What the fuck? But she sent me pictures that made it so hard to say no." Then Destiny linked a...
That's a mega yikes. Over there? That's definitely a mega yikes. Thank you.
A picture of this girl in a bikini in the chat and said, "Girl on the left, so hard to say no. Gonna get arrested one of these MLGs, man."
You
so in these logs, when Destiny was 23, he said that it was really hard to turn down hooking up with this 15-year-old because she looked so good in this picture of her in a bikini. He then shared this lewd image of a child with his friends and said that he's gonna get arrested someday. Well, like I said, a woman just filed a police report against Destiny, so we'll just have to wait and see if his prediction comes true. A couple years later in 2015, when Destiny was 26, he shared in his chat, "I would fuck the shit out of that 15-year-old. What the fuck? There's no way that chick is 15. So now we've seen two separate occasions where Destiny says that he's attracted to 15-year-olds. Ironically, this conversation where he's sharing a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini with his friends is the exact same conversation where he also shared that other woman's nudes without her consent. Sharing non-consensual nudes and sharing a picture of a child in a bikini in one conversation? What a certified Destiny moment. This is what we in the business call a Diddy-stiny party. A common defense that Destiny fans will give when he says that he wants to have sex with children is that he's just joking. For example, these tweets where he says, "You were hot at 10? Any pics? Check DMs. Jesus, I've never wanted to bend someone over the hood of their little tyke so bad." I do think these tweets are jokes, very
it's not
strange
funny, though.
joke.
That's the thing. Dude. Do we stop using "it's a joke" as a defense? Because telling a joke that isn't fucking funny is offensive on its own. It is right for ridicule. Deserves to be roasted into hell. So when you say something horrible, and you're like, that, you know, it's like it's just horrible, and you're like, well, I was joking. Well, it doesn't matter because it wasn't funny. So it's a double horrible, and you should be beaten with beaten with butts, big stinky butts. No, they like that. Damn it! I'll beat you with sledgehammer. Beat you with the butt of this gun. Thank you.
But I don't think that him saying he wanted to hook up with this 15-year-old was a joke. You know that classic prank where you send your friends pictures of kids in bikinis and say how hot you find them as a joke? And to help prove that this wasn't a joke, here are some clips of Destiny doubling down on his attraction to this 15-year-old in a debate with someone named Mr. Medicare.
Of course, of this chat log, I was talking with a bunch of other esports guys, and we were basically talking about how crazy the fucking jailbait is in the gaming communities. It's ridiculous. I think I said something along the lines of like, there are 15-year-old chicks that are like hot as fuck that will like try to send you pictures to like fuck you at events and shit, and it's like you have to be really careful when you navigate that.
So what is the admitting to jerking off to 15-year-olds then? What is that in relation
I never admitted to jerking off. I think I just said like this. I think the log is something like this 15-year-old chick was trying to send me, or was sending me pictures of herself, and she was hot as fuck. It's like really hard to like turn down some of these people. I think.
Wait, how old was she?
She said she was 15.
So you did get pictures from a 15-year-old?
Not nudes though. Sorry, I should specify. I think a couple pics of her like at the beach or some shit. But
in swimwear.
Yeah.
Still creepy as
swimwear pics.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. This shit is fucking crazy. Shit is fuck.
So, in these clips, he says that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck, and he admits to sharing a picture of this 15-year-old in a bikini to his friends. So, is Destiny a pedophile? Well, he admitted that he finds some 15-year-olds hot as fuck, and he sent his friends a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini because he found her so attractive. A lot of arguments with Destiny about pedophilia end up getting wrapped up in semantic debates about labels instead of focusing on the facts of the matter. If you call Destiny a pedo for being attracted to a 15-year-old, he'll launch into a tirade about how pedophilia is the attraction to prepubescent children and 15-year-olds are post-pubescent. So therefore, by calling me a pedo, you have slandered me. So then you go, okay, I guess you're not a pedophile, you're an ephebophile, because ephebophilia is the attraction to teenagers aged 15 to 19. So then he'll go, no, ephebophilia is the primary attraction to mid to late adolescents. I'm mostly attracted to adults. I'm just a little bit attracted to children.
There are 15-year-old chicks that are like hot as fuck.
So therefore, I am not an ephebophile, and you have slandered me yet again. Also, there's nothing inherently wrong with ephebophilia because 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds fall under the category of ephebophilia, and there's nothing wrong with being attracted to adults, so your normative position condemning ephebophilia in its entirety is already a flawed premise. And even if I was a pedophile, there's nothing wrong with being attracted to children. It's only bad if you act on that attraction. So therefore, you have slandered me in countless ways, and my community will now harass you for years. See how you've now had an exhausting 20-minute debate about labels instead of focusing on the fact that Destiny admitted to being attracted to some children and admitted to acting on that attraction by sending a picture of a
Yeah, if I ever got in that discussion and someone seriously brought up, no, it's not pedophilia, it's amoeba, whatever it is. I don't even put that word in my head because it doesn't matter to me. I don't need to know that word. Whatever kind of philia. It begins with an E, but I don't care. I'm actively trying to not remember that word. Because who cares? When we talk about the safety of children, we shouldn't split hairs. You dig? I think everyone can agree that having sex with a minor or assaulting a minor is pedophilia. And the younger they are, the worse it is. I mean, they're all bad. And they all should be treated the same. But societally, did I say that right? In society, generally, it's perceived as worse. So, and you have to draw a line. The line's 18, friend. And you know what, between you and me, should be higher.
Eyes on Chuck.
Be 30. If you want to be real. I'm just kidding, ladies.
Bring mine. Target ID.
I mean, honestly, women should have control of their bodies throughout the entirety of their life. Period. Because like, some parental units cannot be trusted to act in the best interests of that person. So we all got to come together. Takes a village to raise a child, right? Whatever happened to that?
Sorry, mate, not this time.
No, we should all love. I mean, there's, you know what? Everyone's talking about America first, man. I say love first. Love everyone first, and then maybe we can talk about America.
Close this shit down.
If that's necessary.
Child in a bikini to his friends. This is the debate bro way. Crush your opponent through pedantic arguments about semantics so you never have to actually take accountability for your actions. As far as we know, I don't think Destiny falls under the clinical definition of pedophile, but the colloquial definition of pedophile is someone who is attracted to children, and Destiny is at least somewhat attracted to children.
There are some 15, 16-year-old chicks that like look pretty fucking hot. Like I can't help that. Like some people mature fucking older.
Destiny defended another streamer who got exposed for having sex with a 14-year-old by saying, even if he did bang a 14-year-old, no, that's not what pedophile means. Go look it up. Seriously, if you don't understand the difference between being attracted to someone that happens to be young and being attracted to someone because they are young, you have absolutely no business whatsoever commenting on the issue, period. It makes you look uneducated. I really want to see someone use this argument in court. Your Honor, I didn't have sex with that baby because I'm attracted to babies. I had sex with that baby because it just so happened to be a really hot baby. Most babies are not hot, but every once in a while, one of those extra special.
Most? I would say there's exactly 0 hot babies in the world, in the galaxy, in the fucking universe. There are 0 hot babies. Thank you.
Babies rolls their stroller on past my goon cave, and I just can't help myself. But this does not make me a pedophile. You look really uneducated right now. You know what, Destiny? You can feel free to have your pedantic definition of pedophile that only applies to being specifically attracted to prepubescent children because of the fact that they are prepubescent. And I can say that I think you are a freak for saying as a 26-year-old that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck, and for as a 23-year-old sharing around a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini. Deal? The next child-related Destiny incident is when him and his friends, the Bro Squad, watched an 8-year-old boy shake his penis for them on a live stream.
I shouldn't tell this because I'm gonna get fucking arrested. Or Child Protective Services. I used to be part of this horrible thing called the Bro Squad, okay? Fucking me, if you remember that fucking Cheeks bitch, and fucking a couple other people that have never been on my stream before, we're part of the Bro Squad, and what we would do is we would go around Justin TV streams trolling the shit out of these people. And we went around from fucking channel to channel, like fucking around. Like it was just horrible shit. We went to this channel with this fucking like, this kid was like 8 years old, and he was fucking broing out with everybody in this chat. For whatever fucking reason, this kid decides to fucking take his pants off and fucking wiggle his 8-year-old dick on stream. I can't even believe it. Oh my fucking god. It was like, I didn't even know, like, we were on Skype, we were like, holy shit. Like, we had to do like a double take because we didn't even fucking know, like, what the fuck was on. Like, we were looking at like an 8-year-old dick, like, on the fucking screen. And his fucking brother, we called him Captain Push-Ups, would like come in the room. And this guy was like fucking 14 years old. He had his shirt off and he was like this, like watching this stream the entire time and shit. Oh my god.
As far as what Destiny says in this clip, they didn't ask the child to pull his pants down, but I still think it's very bad that him and his Bro Squad didn't immediately click off of this live stream the second that this child exposed himself. If a child exposes themselves to you, I think you have a moral responsibility to immediately click away from that shit. But I guess Destiny and his Bro Squad thought it was really funny to sit and laugh while staring at an 8-year-old's penis. Next, a couple years later, Destiny planned to kill a kid. Apparently, this kid was DDoSing Destiny's.
See, in a different timeline, Destiny would have just became a Catholic priest. I'm not sure what his religious background is, if any. But that, I mean, I guess this is one way to become a sex criminal is by becoming a big streamer, by debating people with nonsensical, fucking brain twisted, fucking nihilistic, essentially, dog shit. And somehow get popular enough where you can get to a position where you can abuse children. That's something. Different timeline, Catholic priest. And I truly believe that the entire Catholic Church was created with the sole purpose, no other purpose, than to create a child sex ring. Period. Everything else about it is not real. It's not real. Every book in the Bible is bullshit. Thank you. Yeah, but if you take these nice little lessons, yeah, but you see what's right next to that lesson about, like, sacrificing a goat and stoning to death someone who fucking eats something on the wrong day? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Fuck what the Bible says. The only reason why you can pick out the good from the bad in the Bible is because we have innate morality given to us by evolution. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, we all survive. There you go. Holy shit, it's not that complicated. But y'all want to make it like, no, there's this dude in the sky, and he wrote, and like, if it wasn't for him, we would just fucking eat each other's faces. Fuck out of here. Dog shit. Religion and the idea of religious morality is just as much a lie as the mythologies of capitalism. Like, capitalism says that, like, the biggest lie of capitalism is that it is the source of innovation. That's never been true. Just heard I'll be back. That was fucking sick. Oh, someone just saved my life. What was that? Oh yeah, capitalism does not create innovation. Even up to today. They consider I mean, it's anything to maintain the class structure. They will say anything. They will lie through their stinking capitalist teeth. Neutralized. The business elite said back in the day that if we got rid of child labor, the economy would collapse. Costs are way too high to not employ these children and to pay them pennies. Without that, we're just on the razor's edge of economic collapse. And it's dog shit. It's bullshit. Everything they say is a lie. This idea that, like, oh, we can't fund A, B, and C. It's like, where are we gonna get the money? We're on a razor's edge, thinking everything, you know? Shut the fuck up. Liar. It's kind of like, you want us just to, like, shut up so you can go back to your fucking big-ass house, get on your fucking stupid boat, eat your fucking expensive fucking food, and your fucking dog shit, fucking high-end fashion shit. And just get fucked. Every capitalist on the planet should put a shotgun in their mouths and do us all a favor. Fuck off. Fuck off the planet. Well, just leave your money there. We'll take care of it. Thanks.
website. DDoSing is when you overwhelm a website with fake internet traffic, causing it to shut down. And because Destiny's website was shut down, he was no longer able to make money from it.
Oh, I did troll the shit out of the DDoS kid. That's a guy, that's one of the people, like, legitimately, like, I was so, you have no, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. I don't, because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it, but I was making so much money on Twitch, and I don't know if Nathan was involved in yet, but for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk of. Oh my god. Oh my god, I was so close to this fucking address. I had fucking streets mapped out and fucking you had no fucking idea. That's when I first started getting interest in like owning a weapon. I got a permit to own a gun and everything.
Destiny obviously never went through with killing this kid, but the fact that he legitimately planned to kill him is unhinged.
Were you really considering it? Yeah, of course. It's actually kind of scary, like how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. How old was the kid in relation to you? I think the kid was probably 16. I think I was 22.
Destiny has defended this to this day, saying that if someone is stopping you from making money, this justifies killing them, even if they're a child.
If you came outside every single day and some guy was slashing your tires and you wouldn't stop and you called the police and nobody wanted to do anything, despite having proof for it, you're like, well, I'm gonna have to attack this dude and maybe even kill him. Yeah, sure, go for it.
Obviously, I agree that someone maliciously taking away your primary source of income is incredibly bad, but I think there are a lot of other possible avenues you could explore before jumping to the nuclear option of shooting a child. As much as it obviously sucks to lose your income, I think if you need to choose between killing a child in cold blood and losing your Twitch revenue, you're just gonna need to put the fries in the bag and get a new job. The next child-related Destiny incident is when he encouraged an infamous lolly or drawn CP artist to draw a picture of his 6-year-old child. This artist is a man named Shadman. You might recognize Shadman from the recent controversy with Ava Chris Tyson from Mr. Beast, who was a really big fan of Shadman's work. Shadman has a long history of drawing pornographic images of actual children, including Keemstar's daughter, and because Destiny was aware of this, he encouraged Shadman to draw a pornographic image of his 6-year-old son. This controversy started because Destiny had been insulting the YouTube animation community. In response, Shadman made this drawing of Destiny to make fun of him, so Destiny then responded to Shadman by tweeting, "Hey @Shadbase, if drawing fan art of me is a tad uncomfortable, you could try drawing my son. He's only 6, so it should be easier for you." To try to be good faith to Destiny, this tweet was obviously a joke, and
as I said before, the joke's not really a joke if it's not funny. Why should it be fun? What makes it a joke, bro? Like, you may not mean it. It's not funny and not structured like a joke. Not a joke, so it's a lie. A weird lie. Why would you say that? It's bizarre. Bizarre fucking weirdo behavior. And you should be shot into space with your hands.
he didn't actually want Shadman to draw a picture of his son. However, I still think that goading a known CP artist into drawing CP of your own son is incredibly irresponsible. Because imagine if Shadman took him up on his request and did go ahead and make the drawing in the same way he had drawn Keemstar's daughter. Then Destiny's son would have had to deal with the fact that there would be drawn CP of him floating around the internet for the rest of his life. If there was a known child murderer and you decided to tweet at that child murderer, "Hey, how about you come murder my child, LOL?" I think we would all agree that that would be incredibly irresponsible, even if that was just a joke. In the same way, I think it's incredibly irresponsible to encourage a known CP artist to draw CP of your child, even if it's just a joke. Thankfully, Shadman did not end up drawing Destiny's child like he had drawn Keemstar's child, and Destiny got to have fun making his little joke.
What a great comeback.
Even though this joke could have come at the expense of his 6-year-old son's safety. Even though a lot of these situations involving children happened quite a while ago, I still think Destiny has been spreading harmful rhetoric around children even quite recently. A couple years ago, Destiny said that a 30-year-old randomly sexting a 14-year-old would not be grooming.
Let's say there's a person that's like 30 years old and tries to like randomly sext like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds, that wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming.
So that clip sounds pretty bad, right? But we don't want to approach Destiny in bad faith or take him out of context, so let's try to understand the actual argument that Destiny is making.
That wouldn't be, I don't think that would be considered grooming. Now, let's say there's a person that's 30 years old and they're specifically seeking out like 14, 15-year-olds to kind of just like talk to them about their school life, figure out what the problems are, you know, be cool because you're all in this experience, and then you kind of weasel.
Like, they're both crewmen, bro. They're both, the whole point of grooming is to trying to create a sexual relationship with a minor. A minor, and whether they do it really slow or if they just come out and like with a tongue flapping like a fucking freak. They're both grooming, bro. They're both attempts.
Taking Bravo underway.
And they're both bad. They're both terribly bad. And why is he splitting hairs on these terms? Why do these dudes? The only logical reason anyone would go to bat for these positions is if they have some kind of. It's like any person, if you're a person who isn't into that kind of shit, who isn't like a fucking sex criminal, a child abuser, people aren't like, don't need to split hairs on it. Don't need to like discuss the pedantic, not pedantic, what's the word I'm looking for? God damn it. Maybe it is pedantic, god damn it. But anyway. Like why are we like, that's not grooming. Who cares whether it's grooming or not, dude? Like, well, I mean, it is. But why are you trying to make the distinction? Like, why would anyone have the interest of making that distinction? The only reason why you would is if, like, you...
Lock it down, Charlie.
I don't even... That was the point. You're fucking brain dead, bro. You're just weird, dude. You're weird. We should just stop. I mean, are you trying to say it's like one better than the other? I mean, if you're trying to compare two terrible things, it's kind of like, well, I mean, it's kind of like, is this kind of a waste of time? They're both pretty terrible. Why are we trying to make a distinction? None of the questions are being asked. That's the thing about like this whole situation with like Destiny being third, which I don't get. Because like everything he says begs more questions. Like, what do you mean by that? Every single thing he says needs more explanation. And he's dependent on people not like being quick enough because he does it fast. And he's hoping it's too quick for anyone to pick it up. And he needs someone to just be like, bro, shut up. What you're saying is dog shit. Shut the fuck up. You are faking it, bro. Fake intellectual. You should be mocked. Chased out of town. Chased off the internet. Get the fuck off the internet, Destiny. You and Ethan Klein can both start streaming together on a kick. All those weirdos. But just get off everything else. Because y'all are lost. Or just, I mean, you're all either very stupid, but I don't think Destiny's stupid. I think you're just really disingenuous. And like a fucking a sex past who wants to get away with that shit. Why try to make the distinction, bro? What's your point? Why are you trying to make the distinction? That's the question that is begged to be asked in this conversation. It's not grooming. Grooming is more like, hey kid, let's hang out at, dude, why are we making this distinction?
Losing A. shit, I'm full of slugs.
Sus.
Time to fade. We need to evac now. The day is lost.
Piss me off.
Like sex, that's like grooming, right? That would be like grooming.
So Destiny's argument is that a 30-year-old randomly sexting a 14-year-old isn't grooming, but if a 30-year-old tries to weasel their way into a 14-year-old's life and slowly manipulate them into sexting them, this would be grooming. But this argument goes against the definition of grooming. The definition of grooming is the action of attempting to form a relationship with a child or young person with the intention of sexually assaulting them or inducing them to commit an illegal act. Guess what, Destiny? Nowhere in that definition does it say that grooming has to be a slow process. Grooming is just forming a relationship with a child for the purpose of sex. A lot of times grooming is a slow process because they have to slowly break down the child's boundaries in order to get them to have a sexual relationship with them. But sometimes grooming can happen very quickly. For example, in situations